Okay. Alrighty. Hello. How are you doing? Hey, GM. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Hope everybody's doing well and feeling well. We got a house here today. Dragoon, TT, Carlos, Somber, Flash Monkey, Latimer, Kia, AGM. Who do we got here? Stone, Sound Alerts, Travion, what's happening? I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're enjoying your Friday. For those of you who are at the start of their weekend, hopefully you've got some time off and you're going to play some fun games and hang out with us. But yeah, hopefully you're going to play some fun games maybe while you're watching us. But if not, I hope you wait until after you're done watching us. So yeah, I got on a little bit later, or a little bit earlier, like it's Friday, so normally Friday's the 4 p.m. stream, but I was home and I was able to get everything done that I needed to do, so I figured we'd pop on a little bit early and see what was going on. I wasn't sure if I was going to play a game or anything, but then I kind of figured with the topics that had popped up, maybe not plan on playing a game, right? Let me go through some of these comments here. Also that title, Dragoon, my title was going to be, by the way, am I loud? Am I like excessively loud? I feel like I'm loud in my headphones. I was going to name the title, you need to link your MySpace account in order to watch this Twitch stream. But this is how my brain works. That was my title. Right, it was going to be that you need to link your MySpace account in order to make your Twitch, in order to view this Twitch stream. And my brain said, Twitch is going to get you in trouble because you're promoting another website in the title. So I was like, you know what? As stupid as it is, I was like, no, I'm going to take it off. But then I thought of like the whole managed democracy. Like I thought of the Star Wars, I love democracy, but then managed democracy, like anybody who knows, right? We're going to talk about it anyway, but, and you can answer some questions for me because I do have some questions about that topic. I hate spring. Allergies kept me up all night. Finally woke up around 2:30. Have you, let me ask you something. For anybody that has allergies, like you have trouble sleeping and, I'm assuming it's too much trouble to get like an air filter, air purifier, the machine that it's like the fan that I have one, but the filter is completely like I need a new filter. Is it like feasible to sleep in the medical mask, the COVID mask, right? The mask you wear when you're sick. Is it feasible to sleep in one of those? Like, would that help when it's like peak hay fever, pollen in the air? Like, would that help? I wonder if that would actually help. I feel like it's not intrusive enough that it would make sleeping harder. I can't believe we need a PSN account to message in Greg's chat now. I know. I'm sorry. It was in the developer's notes, but you didn't read it, so that's your fault. I'm tired, so I won't be here for long. I'm sorry, Flash. I appreciate you stopping in for the time that you did. Who in the what now? I tried liking the Ice Palace. Then things built up, and now I hate it. Well, Kia, welcome to Link to the Past. That's why I don't like that place. Every other place in Link to the Past, any other dungeon that you might not like, Turtle Rock. I don't think Misery Mire was that bad. Skullwood, all of them. When you learn them, they're really quick to get through. Ice Palace, even when you know it, the only way that knowing it makes it any easier is that you're not fumbling around, but it's still a slog to get through. But the best thing you can do to get through Ice Palace is go to Misery Mire first and get the staff, because that staff makes it actually cuts out a big chunk of the dungeon. Normally, there's a piece of backtracking that you have to do. If you have the cane, you don't need to do it. Sony Interactive Entertainment, we are here to inform you that your stream has been blocked from the online servers. In order to continue enjoying your services, please link your PSN account to your Twitch. If you do not have a PlayStation Network account, please visit our website so you can sign in easily. Relative to my average stay here per stream flash, I'm loving Hades, and for the sake of time and such, after a few successful runs, I turned on God mode to see what that changed. And it's super reasonable. It just gives you a ton more defense, but adds 2% more to that every time you totally wipe. Hold on, I'm scrolling. Started playing Celeste. I'm pretty impressed with just how strongly it immerses me and makes me feel with limited direct storytelling. Celeste. You know what the trick with Celeste is, Flash, and I feel like this is probably one of the most subtle tricks that a game has ever done, is that the story is about overcoming adversity and fighting the struggle, right, mentally with the character, and then it is perfectly exemplified in the game. So as the character is overcoming these obstacles, you are winning the levels that are stressful but approachable. So it almost puts you in the same mindset as the character, or at least a similar mindset as the character as you're progressing through the game, right? You start to get frustrated, you win, you feel the satisfaction. Oh, by the way, hold on. You feel the satisfaction of winning, and then your character feels a sense of relief in what they did. And it's like that. It's actually very perfect. I'm sorry, I had my lights down, so I turned them back up. To the homies out there with PSN blocked in their country. Yeah, we have some stuff to discuss because I need you to explain certain aspects of this to me. What is today's beefy? Why is today beefy? Wait, what do you mean? You mean the one I'm already sick of seeing and hearing about to the point where I just want to delete the internet? I mean, Lilac. If you didn't delete the internet yet, I fail to know what's going to make it happen, right? We got through how many different content creator dramas, how many Helena Taylors does it take to make you delete the internet? If stuff like that doesn't make you run off, this isn't going to do it. This is no different. And I don't necessarily think that the outrage is unwarranted. Which again, when we talk about it, I do have some questions about it because there are some fundamental differences. You brought up a game in Discord, and I think there's some fundamental differences, but I need to verify. I need you guys to really explain to me what it is. Like, I want to make sure that my understanding of this is correct. Spring and summer are my allergy seasons. I turn mine off when I go to sleep. Oh, wow, your air purifier? Oh my god, I love sleeping with I love sleeping with a noise, right? If it's an air purifier, if it's a fan, if it's the air conditioner, I like sleeping with some sort of kind of like white noise. Those sounds are like white noise to me. I love sleeping with that. I have trouble sleeping, but that's insomnia, so it's all year round, baby. The air can never be pure enough. Stepping outside will affect you, and sleeping with a mask is a choke. Yeah, I guess it is physically a choke. Like if you were to breathe it in, I guess that does kind of make it bad. Ragweed makes my eyes itch, and it makes me sneeze a lot. During COVID, my nose was a running river underneath my mask. Sleeping with that kind of mask would take at best getting used to. Yeah, I guess with that kind of, but I think that kind of mask being a choking hazard is probably more significant a problem. I like Misery Mire, hated Skullwoods. And Kia, if I ever just have a for fun link to the past run, I'll show you. Like Skullwoods, you actually skip most of Skullwoods. You can easily skip most of that dungeon. I've got frustrated 2 levels in. I've gotten invigorated. This Pokemon Scarlet DLC epilogue is so goofy. So you feel the connection felt more relatable to the point of the intentions. The intention feels suited for Celeste a little bit. I don't know if it was done on purpose. I know that Celeste, the character, the point of like what she was going was she was struggling with something, right? That was the whole thing with Celeste, was that she was struggling internally, and as you got through milestones in the game, you felt satisfied. You felt like you were overcoming the struggle. And because the game is a challenge, but not necessarily an unfair challenge, when you beat a level and you get to the next cutscene or the next sequence, you feel a sense of satisfaction when you win. So as the character feels more satisfied about overcoming her struggles, you feel more satisfied about overcoming the struggles of the game, and it kind of puts you in the same mindset as the character. It's very interesting. Not to mention, just in general, the idea of overcoming a struggle that's going on in your life, and learning how to calm down and accept that part of yourself that maybe we think sucks, or is self-destructive towards us. I mean, just that whole lesson is incredible for Celeste. Unwarranted, no. Overblown. Oh, Fearless Fighter, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. Very, very much appreciate that. I did see that, and I didn't comment on it. But thank you so much, Fearless Fighter. I appreciate that. Unwarranted, no. Overblown, yes. Again, Lilac, most of the internet drama, right? Right? Any of that other stuff. When you look at any of that stuff, it's warranted, but people take it too far. They always do, you know. I have one question about justify the discourse depending on the answer. Whether it's unwarranted or overblown, the facts are there. Many disliked it. Yeah, but you know what? The fact that people disliked it, this is gonna sound kind of weird. I think the fact that people disliked it isn't nearly as important as what happened, because people just randomly decide to like and dislike things all the time. You know, you get accused of whataboutism, but how many times have we seen situations where everybody is mad about something that happens, and they throw a fit, and they review bomb, or they do something like that, and then there's probably 2 other games or 3 other scenarios where the same exact thing is happening and nobody's paying attention. You know, there's very often this thing that happens on the internet where people they pick a fight and they rally around it, and even though that fight is going on in 7 other places, they pick one of them to be the one that they argue about. You know, nobody there wasn't this outrage about. There were some people saying things, but I don't remember this level of outrage about overly sexualized characters in Baldur's Gate 3 the way we saw outrage about Stellar Blade. Right? Where was that level of... And I'm sure there were people doing it, but where was that level of outrage for Baldur's Gate 3 where everybody's throwing a fit about it? Like, people were talking about, oh man, you could have sex with a bear, and then Stellar Blade shows up and she's got a nice butt, and everybody throws a fit, right? So the idea that people dislike it, I think, is actually less important than the actual thing that's happening. If anything, I'm concerned about, and again, this is why I want to talk about it and really get the facts laid out, because there are certain things that I don't understand. Oh, people were dramatic about BG3. They just did it during the beta. Oh, maybe that's the problem. It's a pain, sure, and I'm gonna go back up, but it's a pain, sure, but people acting like you need to give Sony your credit card, Social Security, mother's hand. Yeah, they always do that. When in reality, you just need a free burner PSN account. That's just the bare bones information, which is already on 1 billion sites already. The only true issue is that a ton of countries that can't get PSN accounts, which I'm sure there will be some workaround. Hold on, let me go back up here. I'll probably have to skip some of these, so I apologize if I missed your message here. Allergy thinks sleeping with a mask also means breathing in hot air all night, which sucks. Yeah, it does kind of suck. I don't know. I've got the mask that I like, not the cloth one. If you just wear like the paper N95 mask, they were sometimes pretty breathable. Celery and peanut butter is a delicious snack and I will never change my mind. I you know what's crazy, Sean? I don't like either one of those. I like peanut butter. You know what? I like peanut butter in my cups, right? Give me a Reese cup. I'll eat Reese cups all day. I'm not a big celery person. I don't like the texture of celery. I think celery's like, it's hard and stringy. Like, you put celery in my soup, right, like a slow cooked crock pot soup, and I'm fine with celery. I have no problem with it. But to eat celery, I find it very like, I don't mind the crunch, but I don't know, it's like stringy. Does that make sense? It's nice that the Steam user base is acting to news with the maturity and respect PC gamers are known for. Ogre Pond was unexpectedly cute. I don't know what that is. Isn't necessarily dismissive of whether or not we like the game's theme. It's in this case, Celeste's theme clicks both gameplay and story wise. Jumping. Yeah, I don't know what Ogre Pond is. Why is the internet mad? I live under a rock. We'll go over it. We're gonna go. We're gonna explain everything really quickly. Don't worry about it. Okay, a lot got it. Helldivers 2 said you need PSN. Yeah, we'll go over everything. I think I have the I think I had the tweets somewhere here. It should be in Discord. Actually, wait, hold on, I'm in Discord. Yeah, there it is, right there. I'll read that in a second. Sony's not asking your personal info. No, that's what the hackers do when they get to Sony. Speaking of, no, I haven't gotten it yet. I haven't gotten BG3 yet. To be honest, Somber, like, I have a bunch of other games in the way, so I'm not. If I buy Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to play Baldur's Gate 3, which means I'm going to stop playing everything else, which I already kind of slowed down everything right now just because I'm getting back into learning Japanese. So at work, I'm using my spare time to sort of like jumpstart my learning in Japanese, and then I'm going to taper off, and then I'll get back to some other games. But I'm also trying to figure out whether or not I want it on PS5 or PC. So I'm not really sure where I'm even going to get Baldur's Gate 3. If I get it on PS5, I can wait and I can order a physical copy. If I get it on PC, I feel like I have more accessibility and more options. So I feel like I'm going to end up getting it on PC. That's the thing, is the issue if someone demanded personal see it themselves. Some people just don't want to make another account, or they don't want to link the account that they have. Is this like the Genie and Walt Disney World Land forcing people to pay for an app to access a park that used to be free once you enter it? Ogre Pond's it's a new Pokemon. It's a new Pokemon. Yeah, just open Twitter. Every 7 out of 5 tweets is someone talking about it. I mean, to be fair, this broke yesterday, last night. It's always gonna be the next few days that people are talking about it, right? And not to mention, there's still unanswered questions, right? We still don't know what's gonna happen with the countries that don't really have access to a PSN account. We don't know if this is gonna offer any other thing. So, all right, you know what? Let's. I'm gonna jump ahead here. So I'm sorry if I missed some comments here. We're gonna get into the actual topic here. So we're not dancing around it. So, Helldivers 2. If you bought Helldivers 2 on PC, you have it on Steam, and then it's available on PlayStation. This is a Sony game, by the way. Is it a Sony first party game? It's not a Sony first party game, right? It's one of their like second party or third, or it's like one of their second party companies. Arrowhead, isn't it? Arrowhead. They're like a Sony company, right? Sony published, thank you. Arrowhead developed, I believe. So, if you have the game on Steam, they announced that you are going to... I'm going to read the actual thing here, because this is... it right in here, I think that there's something that I feel is more concerning to me, and this is what I need... one of the things I need clarification on. So it says, Helldivers 2 account linking update. Attention by the way, this tweet that I'm talking about, or this message that I'm talking about, is this is in Side Chat 1. If you scroll up at the bottom of Side Chat 1, you should be able to see it right there. Attention Helldivers. Due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. See details below in this post. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studios games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior, which If you run into somebody that wants to grief you or cause trouble, this game fully allows that. There is team shooting in this game. You cannot turn that off. So if you get an a-hole partner in randos and they want to just ruin your experience, they have full power to do so. It also allows those players that have been banned the rights to appeal. As such, as of May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked a Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. PlayStation Network accounts also are free and easy to set up using this link, and they give you the link there. We understand that this may be an inconvenience to some of you. This step will help us to continue to build a community that you are all proud to be part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2, Sony Interactive Entertainment. Okay. This is where I have a problem, and this is the first thing that I really need you to clarify for me. As such, as of May 6th, all new Helldivers 2 players will be on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. This is where I have the first big problem here. Why do I have to connect my entire Steam account to my PlayStation account? I would understand if you told me that in order to log into my Helldivers game, I need a PlayStation account. What I don't like is that I am giving my entire Steam account access to my PlayStation account and vice versa. That's the thing that I need clarification on, because I don't like that. I don't mind that I would need to make a PlayStation account, which I already have, obviously, right? I don't mind that I would need to make a PlayStation account to log in to Helldivers. Helldivers specifically. Just like if I were to when I play Fortnite, I think I had to connect my PSN account to my Fortnite account. Fortnite specifically, but not Epic. I don't think so. I don't think I had to connect it fully to Epic. That's what I don't like. And I need to understand. I need to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. Is there a difference? Is there a difference to me logging into Helldivers 2 specifically and putting in my PlayStation Network info? Or am I connecting my entire Steam account to PlayStation? There is a difference. Hold on. This idea that's not being linked to Sony is unsafe, drives me crazy. It's the internet, I feel they would have complained. Waiting for a sale on BG3. I mean, I'm waiting for a sale also on BG3. Yeah, that's not very democratic. Yeah, friendly fire is on. Yeah, and GG, that's a good question. I don't know why I would need a PlayStation account to I guess, no, you know why, GG? Because there's crossplay. Because if the player that's being a jerk, if I'm on Steam and the player that's being a jerk is on PlayStation, technically I have no path to ban them. I have no path to report them. So I can understand that. Sony wants to know if you're playing a hentai game. I mean, they can just ask. Yeah, Sony wants to see those hentai VR games. I had to connect it to Epic. So maybe that is it. But it's likely to do with the trophy thing they wanted to do with Steam too, despite those games being in Steam. You're linking your Steam account to your PSN. Yeah, it's not just the game. Usually it's just your login handle, so they shouldn't see your library and such. Well, they shouldn't. I'm sure I needed to connect my Epic account to play Fortnite when it came out on PS4. But you needed to log into it in the game? Or did you need to, like, connect your PlayStation and your Epic account? That's the thing that I'm not entirely sure of. I don't know if there's a difference. I don't know if that... I don't even remember if that was something... Like, I brought up the Epic thing, and I don't even actually remember if I gave Epic... Like, if I go into PlayStation, if I go into my Sony account, and I look at linked accounts, I don't know if it's linked to my Epic account. I mean, I don't know if it still is. In Fortnite, you connect... whatever account you have to Epic, it can be Nintendo. Okay, so that's... It just... Oh... Can you find that for me, AGM, if there's any way to find that for me? In Fortnite, you can connect whatever account you have to Epic. It can be Nintendo, Xbox, or Sony, and it sticks to just Fortnite. All right, so I don't feel like there's any verification here that this game, that my linking the Steam account to my PlayStation account is going to connect only to Helldivers. Which I don't know why it would connect to anything else, but it's just, these are just the concerns that I have, and these are the concerns that if there's an answer for them, it would be nice to have. I feel like with all of this there are questions, and that's why I don't mind everybody's talking about it, because I do think that there are questions here. I do think that there are things that need to be said and need to be asked, and I actually posted a tweet to them, which of course they're not going to respond to, but I have a big question about some of this stuff. Sony wants to bring the numbers up on PS accounts. I mean, to be fair though, Nephaloid, they're gonna bring numbers up on PlayStation accounts if they make any good game. If they make Gran Turismo 6, right, when Gran Turismo 6 comes out, if they tell you, they're gonna tell you that you need a PlayStation account in order to play that game. Because a good game, people are going to log in and it's going to make their numbers look good. Like, they're going to do that. But it is the free account. It's not, they're not telling you need a $80 a year account. So it is the free thing. So that's kind of better. It's no different than how you need to link your Steam to Twitch or PSN to Discord to use those features. It just allows them to send the required and authorized data to each other, but can't access each other's information. So you just kind of touched on something that is my other main question, but let me go through some of these. That's the thing. You needed to link the account already, but for when you want to crossplay, no need to do it by default. Which was the deal. Now it's just to have access to the game at all. I believe that if Sony wasn't ready for the fact that day one had the required link. I mean, the game was kind of messed up early, right? So there were a ton of problems. And the game worked just fine without the link. No one was complaining about being unsafe. Yeah, I mean, we weren't complaining about being unsafe, but I don't know what the future was going to hold for that game. Gran Turismo 7 came out in 2022. Today? Are you sure? Because my Epic Games account shows the friends I had on PS4 in 2016. So maybe it did. So maybe it did link directly to your Sony account. You can use Twitch without linking anything. This is link or you can't play Helldivers 2, which is a little bit of a concern. That does seem a bit extreme that you can't play the game at all. Like I said, it was required day one, but due to the issues with servers and crossplay being broken, meaning the link would work right too. So that's why it was disabled with the knowledge it would come back once things were fixed. So we have tons of other games with crossplay that don't need a console link to complain about the crossplay issues. So no, here's my problem. You kind of, so I guess there's two things that I have a question about, and you kind of just touched on one. You guys are talking about crossplay, and that's one of them. You don't need this for crossplay. They fixed crossplay. We have done crossplay. You don't need your account linked in order to do crossplay. So the idea that this is to make crossplay work is ridiculous because the crossplay already functions. That yes, it was broken at the beginning, but they fixed that. Linking your account has nothing to do with it because everything is linked to Helldivers. Helldivers is the one that links you to other players. We have played here crossplay. So no, that's not true. They're saying that you would need it in order to report griefers and bad players and poor conduct, which I can appreciate. I respect that, but at the same time, I don't know why that would be necessary. And again, I don't know how all of this works technically, but I can say that from a consumer standpoint, from the average consumer standpoint, if this was a concern, why did you enable crossplay at this point? Why didn't you say crossplay will be enabled when we fix the account linking? Why was that not a case? Because crossplay works now. So if you felt that there was a concern about, like a security concern about crossplay, why did you enable it before you enabled this? And we know why. It's because they want money, right? They want people to play the game. But it does feel a bit odd. It feels a bit odd that you're doing this now, which, yes, okay, they had already talked about doing this before. So why did you implement crossplay without this? I don't understand. If you think that this is such a big, if the concerns through crossplay have been such a big issue that you had this plan from the start, what made you implement crossplay without this? This seems like now I'm concerned because this seems like a security issue. This is what's funny. Now I feel like if I'm going to be willing to connect my PlayStation account, now I feel like I don't want to play the game until this is done. Because you have now made me aware of an issue, of a potential security issue. I say security issue, but they're really talking about like griefers and stuff. But you've made me aware of a potential issue that this is going to fix, and then you're telling me that I don't have to do this for a month. So I'm like, so in that month, what do I have to worry about here? Should I be concerned? And if I shouldn't be concerned, why are you doing this? You see what I mean? It's a weird sort of like circular logic that's going on here. You know, I'm supposed to think that this is a good thing to fix a problem, but you're telling me that this isn't happening for another month, which means that the problem that you think exists for this to fix is going to be present for the next month. So I don't know, right? Like I don't know what I'm supposed to, if I'm supposed to ignore it because it's not a big deal, then why are you doing this? You see what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird. It's this weird sort of circle of logic that keeps chasing itself. Hang on. While true, this has been in Helldivers page since the pre-order time. Incorporates third-party DRM and protect guard, so there's already a security system there. Requires third-party account PlayStation Network, supports linking to Steam account. Okay, I'm gonna Lilac, you're gonna get mad at me because I'm gonna nitpick here, and I think it's a very significant nitpick. Supports linking to Steam account. It does not say required. It doesn't say requires linking to Steam account. It says supports it. So I can if I want to, but I don't have to if I don't want to. Requires agreement to I don't know what this is. Requires agreement to a third party EULA, unless that's what that is. But if you're talking about the second one, PlayStation Network supports linking to Steam account, that says supports not required. This is the concern. The concern is not that it supports it. The concern is that they're saying it requires it. And I do have a problem with that. And I do think that that's a bit misleading. Hold on. I'm missing stuff. I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't link my account to that. Big issue. Sony sellers, it's for your benefit and safety when it's clearly not. Just be honest. I get that there's a benefit to it, but if there's a benefit to it because there's a problem, you're also telling me that you're not going to require this for another month, which means that whatever problem you think exists or you're trying to convince me exists, you're saying that it's a problem for a month, that is going to be an issue. To get to the whataboutisms out fast, Sea of Thieves on the PS5 requires a Microsoft account to be linked to play, even if you buy the game and you don't want a Microsoft account, but no one cares about that. And again, and Lilac, this is why I brought this up earlier. Sea of Thieves requires you to make a Microsoft account that links to the game, but you're not linking your PlayStation Plus account, or you're not. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that works specifically. Home vacation, the game was unsafe the whole time and they just let us keep playing. Like, I don't understand. So am I supposed to be worried that there's a problem, or am I supposed to ignore it because it's not really a problem? Because if it's not really a problem, then why are you going through all of this trouble? Why was this there in the first place? And why did you allow the game to be played without it if it was that much of an issue? Why did you buy the game without reading the TOS that is on? I mean, first of all, Lilac, I read the terms and services is the biggest lie told on the internet. Let's not act like we sit there and we read every single line of every single TOS. Right? Second off, you are right though. You should have seen it because it had yellow paint on it. So I feel like yellow paint should have been the giant indicator that there was something to pay attention to there. EULAs are different. Okay, so that's different. That's different. Okay. It says requires third-party account. No, it does not say requires third-party account. It's I'm reading exactly what you tweeted here, what you messaged to me, or what you posted here. Incorporates third-party DRM and protect GameGuard. Requires third-party. Oh, it does say requires. Requires third-party account PlayStation Network. But then I don't know. So you're right. You're right. My apologies. I was wrong on that one. It does literally say the first word is requires. But then why? I don't know. I feel like. Then why wasn't it required? Like, is it required or not required? You know, it just feels weird. It feels weird that this is kind of. Can you at least agree that this does kind of feel like it's kind of coming out of nowhere, right? Like it's and they're giving you enough time, right? They're giving you enough time if you decide. This is also a few months past, and you can't return the game. That to me is another kind of red flag. And I know that returning the game or canceling it, whatever, I know that that's an extreme reaction. But the fact that this is there and you are now out of the position where you can return the game, it does kind of feel like, that's a little, you know what I mean? No, but you're right. It does say required. It does say required. So I'll give you that. Someone brought up another reason for the possible link to do with piracy. The piracy thing I'm never really sure of. The piracy thing, I don't know how this fixes piracy and because then you know what happens, Lilac? Then the piracy discussion begins, and then what happens years from now when you can't play the game, and then you gotta hack it, but you can't access the game without an account. So what do you do? Then it becomes a whole big thing. History repeats itself. The cycle continues where we complain about we need an account in order to avoid piracy, but then what happens when the game is no longer accessible or my account is down, right? Oh no, PlayStation Network is down and I can't access it, so I can't play my games. Boy, I sure miss the time when I can just put a game in and play it, right? It's the whole cycle all over again. And it's so back and forth. Like, are we supposed to like these things for piracy, but shut up when something goes wrong with them? Like, I never really know. It's always kind of all over the place. The Nintendo games are the only ones that get pirated anyway. They said it wasn't required because of all the server issues that happen. They gave enough time to ride the hype train. You're banned from my channel if I ever make one. Wait, it's linked to the game, and the reason why people didn't talk about it is because 70% of the population with a computer already have a Microsoft account. Oh, for Sea of Thieves, you mean? And fanboyism is more important. Saying Xbox on PlayStation was a W for Sony. I mean, yeah. Then we get into that discussion. I had to link my Steam account to my Final Fantasy 14 account, for example. And once you do that, no one else can ever log into a different Final Fantasy 14 on your system, and you can't log out of that. Well, you can probably go in and unconnect your account, right? Normally, you can find like linked accounts or something. Can you do that? I had spent 2 weeks emailing Square until they allowed me to. Oh no! Wow, that's kind of wild. It is despite being told in advance it was going to be a thing. However, the way this is being presented sounds like a problem that either was never there, but they're saying there was to justify it, or it is, and they let us risk it, and they're letting us risk it for the next month. This all just feels kind of weird. I feel like there are gaps here. I feel like there are some gaps here that, like I said, that I think it's justifiable to ask some questions. I think that you're totally justified to ask questions. I will always, no matter how annoying it gets, I will always question a system that tells me that I'm not supposed to ask questions. Whether you're talking about game developer decisions, whether you're talking about government, whether you're talking about my job, the management at my job, I will always question a system that tells me stop asking questions. No, I hard disagree. I think I should always be able to look at the system and ask why something is in place. And if you tell me that I'm not supposed to look and I'm not supposed to ask, I immediately think something is going on. I will always do that. We overlook the problem of what if one of the linked accounts gets hacked or no, we haven't gotten there yet, Sims. We haven't, trust me, we're getting there, because that was one of the big, that was a concern that I saw someone people bringing up in the comment sections on some of these posts. That above is the issue between game account linking and system linking. One is a lot harder to undo and fix. There's totally gaps, but because it's Sony, the only company that can ask people not to talk about the hacks of their employees, we have people saying this is overblown. Meanwhile, the literal law can leak other companies, and we get sucks to be you. So Sims just brought up the other issue that I had heard, which is what happens with the connectivity. What one of the issues I saw was that what happens if somebody gets banned on one, which, sure, if you get banned, you're a jerk. But we also have this scenario where people can, like, what if you drop into the game, what if you drop into a game of Helldivers and you're just ass at the game, right? You're a new player, you drop in, they drop you in with some level 40s, and you're ass at the game, and they decide that they want to be jerks and they want to file a complaint against you, right? They want to say that you're griefing them or you're intentionally throwing the game, and then you get banned. Could you potentially get in trouble because your accounts are linked? I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't know the reach that this stuff is going to have. If something happens on Steam, for instance, and like, let's say it's out of the game. Let's say something happens and your Steam account gets banned or blocked or something. Is that going to impact your PlayStation account? I'm not sure. I literally just don't know. I feel like I need to keep saying that because I know that some of these questions sound stupid. But it does raise a concern. And again, not to mention the obvious concern, which is if Steam has some sort of giant hack and they get personal information, could they potentially get my PlayStation information? I know that our information is kind of everywhere, all over the place, all the time. But I do have a right to even if it's trivial and even if it is irrelevant, I do have a right to try and protect my information. So is that a concern? Is that something that I need to worry about? Because now I need to worry about a Steam hack that gets my PlayStation information and a Sony hack that gets my Steam information. So you see what I mean? Like, now they're both vulnerable against each other. And I just want to know how, this is why I was asking earlier, like, how integrated is all of this? Am I just logging into Helldivers with my PlayStation account, or am I logging into Steam with my PlayStation account? Because that changes the vulnerability here. Play games and stop asking questions, said Mr. Sony. Once again, Sony, because they're popular, just unsafe. They get hacked, but probably because they're popular. And if you try and hack, the problem is you try and hack Microsoft, they've got really good security. There's a tax. It's just a lot of trouble. It's just a lot of headaches. I quit my job for that very reason one time. Basically, we were told we were manufacturing one thing only for it to be something else that was harmful to the community. I bring it up, got told to keep my mouth shut and don't ask questions or talk about it. I walked out immediately and found something within 2 days. Point is, yeah, if you tell me I can't ask questions on a job, I got to question who I'm working for. So yeah, the idea that we're not supposed to say anything, you'll never get me with that one. It's okay to ask stupid questions because we need the smart answers so we can be smart. You can't just dismiss those questions. It potentially wouldn't affect your PSN account, but if your Steam account got hacked and you needed a new one, you would have to go through the difficult process of unlinking that PlayStation account from the Steam account. Otherwise, it would be unable to play the linked games. Microsoft invented getting hacked. Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying that play has no limits except ours. Play has no limits unless you don't have an account, in which case you're screwed. So the other issue, and this isn't really an issue. This is something that I've been asking about for a while. Cross progression. You could convince me that cross progression wasn't a thing because your accounts aren't linked. And they kept saying, I kept checking, and they kept saying for a while now, there's not going to be cross progression. It's like, all right, well, I kind of believe that, right? The Steam version is the Steam version and the PlayStation version is the PlayStation version. There's no reason there would be crossplay. But now you're forcing everybody to link their accounts. Why can't we do crossplay now? Why can't that be a thing? You're not going to tell me that there's some sort of account limitation, that you can't intermingle the information. Of course you can. You're literally making me do it. So where is that? And I know cross progression is not really a big thing for a lot of people, but for some people, it's very important. I find cross progression to be incredibly useful. It kind of sucks that I would need to buy the game again if I want to play it on on PS5, but it is a nice feature to have. It is a nice feature to kind of have. Not to mention, yeah, and Somber, yeah, if they require me to link, does that mean if I buy Helldivers 2 on Steam, I get it on PS5? What I would say is at least give me a discount. Now you know, right? Now you know if I go to buy Helldivers on PlayStation 5 with my accounts linked, now you know that I have the Steam version. So can I get a discount? Can I get $40 for the game or $20 for the second version of the game? That way I pay $60 and I get two versions of the game that I can cross progress between. I know that it's not like, I know people are going to say that I wish you could get it for free, but I'm willing to at least pay a little something for it. That's fine. I think $60 for two copies of the game that I can cross progress between. I think that that's fair. If I need that, then okay, I can accept, but it should be optional. No questions, just stupid questions. More people ask more instead of believing fake news. I remember remember Sony back in the day hates crossplay because it means less money for them from microtransactions. So yeah, I guess maybe that's going to be what they're going to try and say. This kind of, as you said above, feels like a way for Sony to be like, look at our game numbers, and a way for them to be like, sure, we put our game on Steam, but now you need our account even to play it. It sets a worrying future precedent. It's important for re-releases. Capcom is the immediate example with Monster Hunter coming to PC years after console. The first mod that you always see is a complete save file. No discounts. Which is funny because if they're trying to inflate their numbers, having a discount, you'd be able to show investors, look at how many copies of the game we sold. Right? Even if as long as the investors don't look too close and realize there was a 50% discount on the second sale, you'd be able to say, wow, thank you, Helldivers, for buying 70 million copies of our game. Cross purchase was a thing during the Vita, so maybe that's why Sony doesn't do it. Yeah, but that's AJM. That wouldn't have any relevancy because Sony doesn't even remember that the Vita was a thing. You will never convince me. If you give a Sony executive a Vita, I guarantee you they're gonna think it is an early Switch. There's no way they recognize it as a Sony device. What the hell is the Switch Vita? 14 example, I was unable to play or log in to a different Final Fantasy 14 account from my PSN account, even if I deleted and re-downloaded it, because then on that account, from then on, that account is permanently linked. Yikes. Discount, you bought it on the wrong platform. You paid full price twice. Sony tried that with the Vita crossplay purchase. It was a sales loss. Yeah, they don't remember the Vita. The Vita doesn't exist. The Vita was a myth. No discount. In fact, you have to pay more for the second copy is $60. Work for Sega with Sonic Forces. Thank you for 1 million downloads of our game. Half of those were for free, but ignore that. Don't look over here. Looking at the EULA for Helldivers 2, it mentions the PlayStation Network account once and has the words "if you have one" as the next words. All right, so that's interesting. Yeah, I think that this is strange. I do think that there is and again, I won't go over it again, but I think there's a weird circle of logic here where you're kind of it's like you're chasing down a problem, right? But then when you go the other way, you're also kind of avoiding a problem for a little while, right? After this is all fully implemented and you have to link everything, then I feel like this is going to go away. I feel like people who are not going to want to do this are not going to do it. The people who are going to be okay doing this are going to do it. And there's not going to be that gap. That's what I find very weird, is that there right now there's this weird gap going on where there's a security issue, so there's a problem to fix it, but we shouldn't worry about the fix because there isn't really a problem, right? So it's like, wait, what's happening here? They altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further. Again, maybe there's no problem at all. And Sony is saying there was, just to catch people into thinking it's for the better. But again, if there's not a problem, I mean, first of all, if there's not a problem, then that's a lie, and that's a whole issue on its own. But they're leading you to think there's a problem. That's why. If you don't think there's an issue, then you should be questioning why this is happening now. If you do think there's an issue, you should be questioning what they're going to do in the interim and whether or not it's even safe to play the game. Which I don't think that the game is in danger. I don't really know, but again, I don't know what the risk is here. I don't know if you saw what happened in follower forum. Just know I'm feeling better. No. No. I didn't see that. Are you okay? I saw this. Wait. Try recovery drive. Check my laptop every time I do it. Blue screen. I'm fighting to lose a battle. I'm sorry, Ronan. I don't have the money to replace the laptop. I mean, it feels like I just factory restarted my laptop. My laptop even failed at doing a factory reset. It might be your Oh, she's gonna help you get a new one. All right, that's good then. That's good. I was gonna say, Ronan, I don't know how old your laptop is, but I wonder if maybe your hard drive got corrupted and it was probably time to get just a new hard drive. I wasn't really sure. What is this? Video I'm about to show you. Oh, this is my family. Oh, thank you, Mr. L. If you're in here. Actually, you are in here. I think you commented earlier. I do wonder how much this will affect the player base. I don't think the game will get a massive exodus, but I'd be curious to see if the numbers on Steam do. Well, you did see people are like downvoting the game now, right? Because which to me, I don't know. The whole downvoting, right? The whole downvoting a game when you're pissed off about this, right? People were joking like, oh yeah, PC players, being normal as usual. I don't know, because isn't that like what that's for? Like, isn't the player rating for how you feel about the game overall? And if the game is fine, but there's this massive issue, right? If there's a DRM issue, or like, let's say it's not even a game. Let's say it's not even an in-game thing. Let's say the game is plagued with cheaters, right? Let's say you play a game that has 100,000 concurrent players and the game is plagued with cheaters and the developer isn't doing anything. Isn't one of the outlets for people to complain to go and downvote the game? So I feel like, I don't know, I do question whether or not downvoting the game is out of line. If you're unhappy with the game and you're unhappy with the decision that happens inside the game or out, isn't that, like, what other recourse is there? You can go on and yell about it on Twitter all you want, but that doesn't inform anybody. It doesn't really do anything. So do you go and you downvote it and you say, I don't want to link my PlayStation account? How about this? What if it was from day one? What if from day one they said you have to link a PlayStation account in order to play this game? You have to link your PlayStation to your Steam account. And people downvoted the game and said, I don't like that I have to do that in order to make my game work. Would they be wrong? Would they be wrong to do that? Would they be wrong to go into that section and that's where they voice? I mean, don't we say that? Don't we say that you're supposed to voice your complaints when you have an issue and you either speak with your wallet, or if they give you a literal upvote and downvote, shouldn't you downvote when you think that there's a problem? So I don't know. I don't know that I completely disagree with that as reasonable to go and do that. I would have a problem if they were sending them letter bombs, right? if they're threatening people at Arrowhead and Sony saying, how dare you, I'll be there tomorrow, right? That's obviously very extreme. But going onto the website and downvoting the game, I feel like it's certainly not extreme. I don't particularly think it's extreme. Hold on, let me go back up. Yeah, it's supposed to be for that. Send the YouTube link inside chat one. I think you might find it interesting. Yeah, I just saw that. Thank you, Mr. L. I'll be inevitable drop due to region lock, but then massive as Twitter makes it look. I went from overwhelming positive to mixed in a few hours. My whole and I think that those reviews on Steam, I think that they're only available for 30 days. I think after a while it like changes or something. So I don't think they'll be there forever. My whole OS stopped working and everything I didn't work, so I have no other option. No, I don't know, Ronan. I think that I don't know what the problem is. I would wonder, and if you're getting a new laptop, that's fine. I would recommend you get a new laptop anyway, just so you have a better piece of tech since you do stream. My question would be if you just changed the hard drive, if you got a whole brand new SSD and you put that in, formatted it, loaded up Windows onto it, would that fix the problem? Because this sounds like a corruption in your hard drive that's sort of affecting everything. And you said that not recovery tool, like I know you said recovery tool. Did you completely delete Windows and then try and redo it again? And did you have a spinning hard drive or an SSD? Yeah, why yell on Twitter when I can just sub to you? Thank you so much, Trios. I appreciate that. Trios in the hunt with a tier 1 sub. Very, very much appreciate that. Trios. I've been watching travel videos, and I gotta you get those videos that are like, these are the things you should do when you go to Japan, and slowly but surely it kind of migrates to other places. So I got a couple that were about going to South Korea, and one of them popped up for Iceland, and it said if you're going to Iceland, don't make these mistakes. And one of the mistakes was staying in Reykjavik. It said don't stay in Reykjavik the whole time. Get a guide and go places and get money and then go and tour other places. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. For better or worse, Steam is a pro refund system for policy changes. I'd be surprised if there's even 1K refunds, but still. We do always tell people to speak about issues, but as we talked before, if we personally don't agree with it being an issue, then it's just hate and drama. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's fine. I think that's reasonable. I think that's what it's for. Isn't it for... I know that upvoting and downvoting should be for the quality of the game, or people think that it should be for the quality of the game, but I would argue that limiting my access to the game based on the accounts that I link to it and forcing me to go and make an account with another website, even if it's easy, even if it's free, telling me that I absolutely have to do that or I can't play the game, I think that that's an issue that that can impact your enjoyment of a game. And I think that it's fair to downvote a game and say, yeah, I don't like that about this game. They're doing their part. Yeah, and to be fair, Helldivers is plagued with bugs and bots. I mean, wow. Wait. So Helldivers is plagued with bugs and bots. So Helldivers is basically a Bethesda game on Twitter. Right? Oh, come on. That's a good joke and you know it. Helldivers is a Bethesda game on Twitter. It is plagued with bugs and bots. That's it. Soundbite is what everyone is saying about Sony. Well, you already have your guide ready. That's the same thing I said about visiting England and London. The latter is not the most representative example of the former. Place to stay once I get my home. It looks like something what's this? The Steam PSN link is for all Sony published games on Steam. Third-party account required. So this is... Oh, so that's interesting. Online multiplayer, PlayStation. Third-party account... Okay, so wait. Third-party account required, PlayStation Network, online multiplayer, and PlayStation Overlay. So, but that's not... But You can still play the game without that, though, right? That's the thing. I think that's the thing that is kind of screwing with Helldivers in this situation, because this that you're linked here for Ghost of Tsushima, this makes it seem like if you want to play multiplayer, or if you want to have the PlayStation overlay, you need to link your PlayStation account. But if you don't, you can still play the game. You can still play the single player game. Helldivers you can't play at all without linking it. So I do think that that's a problem, but I think that it's a problem because Helldivers fundamentally is a multiplayer game. That's the trick, is that if Ghost of Tsushima was only multiplayer, it would be the same exact problem. But Ghost of Tsushima has a single player mode. And yeah, you can drop into Helldivers solo, but it's not a different game. It's not, you know what I mean? There's not a single player campaign in Helldivers 2. If you drop in solo, you drop in solo, but it's still the same game. Whereas Ghost of Tsushima is a completely different game, or relatively different experience when you play multiplayer. I wasn't able to delete Windows because there was no option for me to delete it. I tried to factory reset it and it blue screen trying to do that. That's kind of, yeah, Ronan, that sounds like you just had a defective hard drive. I probably would have taken it somewhere, or I would have looked it up on, well, okay, hold on. I think I was going to say something mean there, but I was going to look it up online, but your laptop busted. Well, you got your phone. I probably would have looked it up online and I would have said, let me buy another hard drive. And you can get a 1 terabyte. Oh, did you say you had a spinning hard drive, or did you say you had an SSD? Or did you have I'm sorry, I might have missed your message. Did you try a new hard drive? And it plagued with bugs, but not Daffy's sadness. Okay. What's this? I hear my PC ramping up. Not for Rift Apart, that's single player. So it's both less and more than we thought, because they're applying it to any game. Again, it'd be one thing if it was crossplay. Offline is still available if you don't with Ghost of Tsushima. It's like Lewis said earlier, and it's due to the whole trophy layout and PlayStation support they want to do with Steam. But they're not saying that. If you're talking about Helldivers, they're not saying that. They're saying specifically it's because of this, like they want to be able to ban griefers. So they're really not saying that. And again, this is exactly what I'm saying again, is that I think it's fair to ask questions, because I do think that there are some gaps in logic here that you have a right to ask about. Ultimately, I mean, we'll see what happens with this, but I don't. This doesn't seem like something. They're not going to back out of this, right? They claim that there's a problem, so they're really not going to back out of this. So this is definitely something that's going to happen. To be honest, let's be honest here. All honesty, right? Let's just lay it all out on the table. Some people are going to not engage in this. Some people are going to demand their money back, or they're not going to play the game anymore. Some people are going to piss and moan about it, and then they're going to connect their PlayStation accounts because they're going to remember how fun the game is, and because the game is fun, right? It just is. Some people, I would argue that a lot of people are going to be fine with this. I think a lot of people probably already have PlayStation accounts, or kind of like you were saying, Lilac, you just make it. Even if you make I don't think that people will make a burner account. I don't particularly. I think that there's some people that might make burner accounts, but I think for the most part, people are just going to make an account and they're just going to never touch it again. I think I did it with Capcom. I forget what game required a Capcom account, so like I made one and I've never touched it again. I mean, I haven't been on my Epic account and I couldn't tell you how long. But going forward, now that everybody knows this is what you have to do, no one's going to complain. No one's going to complain anymore, because now that it's already in place, once it's already in place, when you buy the game and you know ahead of time you're absolutely going to need to make a Sony account, you're going to make that decision right there. You're going to make that decision. You're going to say, I don't want to make a Sony account. I'm not buying this game. Or, okay. And you're going to do it. Yeah, the average person is not going to make a burner account. The moral of the story is Fortnite is better. Yeah, Sony's already got. I have a Sony. My only concern is, like I said, my biggest concern is if Steam, if Steam or Sony gets hacked, because it's just a matter of time, is my information at risk for the other account? That's my only concern. I don't need to go and make a burner account. I have one. I don't really worry too much about cross integration. You know what I mean? Like, I would like for there to be cross progression. I would like at some point to possibly pick up the game for PS5, and then I can play it on PS5 when I want to sit down out on my couch, or because I haven't played it in weeks. And the reason I haven't played it in weeks is because I don't want to sit at my computer. I don't want to sit at my computer all the time. Like, I come home and I stream, and then I want to sit on my couch. And I want to watch something, or I want to play a game when I'm comfortable over there. And I don't want to sit at my computer. 100% not even anything. There will inevitably be losses due to region lock. That's the other concern. I'm curious to know what they do about the region lock thing, or the fact that, like, regions can't make PSN accounts. I'm curious to see what they do, because they'll have a solution for that. I don't think that they're just going to let everybody in the lurch about that one. I think that they're going to do something to fix that. So I'm kind of in that regard. Now it's just genuine curiosity as to how they're going to fix that problem. I'd be surprised if we get more than a 1K refund tops. Social media doesn't reflect anything. A Metrovania called Zao was trending on Twitter because it got 300 purchases, but only got 300 purchases. I remember that. I remember seeing that. Wait, what do you mean? It's only like 300 people bought Zao? There's no way. There's no way it was that low. I think it's the biggest issue being misused. Missed in the future. It's a question you'll have to figure out. At the moment, you already bought the game, and now you need to decide if you want to waste your $60 you spent. Well, $40. That game was $40. If you bought any of the passes, that's different. But yeah, the game itself was only $40. I just love the people that are like, I'm not making a PSN, I hate Sony, and they scream about no longer being able to buy the Sony published game, meaning grats, you gave someone. Yeah, that's where, like, and again, that's where the logic kind of fails me. That's where it's like, I hate Sony, so I'm not making an account. It's like, okay, but you bought a Sony game, right? Yeah, I just want to make sure you know that. I want to make sure that you know that you bought a Sony published game, so you gave them some money. Just if you're uncomfortable with it, if you don't like making an account everywhere, that's fine. You're allowed to feel that. But this logic of, I hate Sony, so I don't want to make an account. So you don't want to make a free account, but you want to give them your money? Huh? What? That didn't... No, that was the wrong one. What happened? That's the wrong one. Where's my... There it is. What? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't really make a lot of sense that you would do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. The CEO said they're asking Sony about that. So yeah, I mean, they've got a month to figure it out. The Tarkov community is on fire. What else is new? I mean, the Tarkov community isn't Tarkov like they're pissed off for some like $350 issue or something, like some weird thing that came up. Yeah, I love that Mickey one though. That is kind of funny. What happened? Yeah, I remember hearing the Tarkov thing, but we didn't really. I don't play Tarkov, so I don't really know. So I wasn't really paying attention to that. There's a couple of news stories that I really don't discuss with you guys because it's not something that we really engage in. And I mean, I know we've discussed some weird things before, but there was the Tarkov issue. We talked about what was that game where the space game where the ships cost thousands of dollars? I know we talked about that at some point. This is something that we definitely don't talk about, and I don't follow this closely enough. I wouldn't bring this up as a as a topic for the show, for the stream, just because not only is this not something that we normally talk about, this is something that kind of came out of nowhere for me. Star Citizen, thank you. It was Star Citizen. FaZe, so in the esports, right? Esports has these has teams, right? So you got like Optic and you got the subliners and you do have these things. And this is stuff that I'm speaking a whole different language to you guys because I barely follow esports, but it does interest me. I'm fascinated by esports because I think that as an outsider who occasionally peeks in, what bothers me about esports is in esports orgs, right? 100 Thieves, any of these orgs. What bothers me about it is fundamentally, I think esports leagues should be very popular. I think that competitive gaming is very popular, and I'm not saying it's not popular. Obviously, there's a ton of people that really care about this stuff, but I feel like it should be way more popular than it is. And but it's not, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the way that the leagues are structured and the way that they play games and the way that they approach competitive gaming as a whole. I'm not really a fan of the way they do it. I think that it's actually relatively limited compared to what it should be and what it could be. I always had the idea that an esports organization would have, as an organization grows, I would like to see an organization that contained multiple teams for multiple games, or that you have players that are sort of like the Olympics, right? You've got in your country's Olympic team, you've got people that play specific sports. You've got a couple people that run 100-meter dash, right? It's not even just track. You've got people that run 100-meter dash. You've got people that do hurdles. You've got people that do pole vaulting, jumping, the long jump and the triple jump. You have people that do that. But you do have a lot of crossover also. You do have certain events, certain competitors that compete in different events. I always kind of thought esports should be like that, where you have esports organization and they have teams that play multiple games. And they do, like, I always feel like when I hear about esports orgs, they're playing Call of Duty. You know what I mean? And it always feels like it's something else that plays COD, that plays CSGO or CS2. I guess they play CS2 now. And different players that play Overwatch. And it's like, I feel like it should be one big giant org that has teams that play multiple games. I feel like that's more interesting. So DDR should be one of the competitions. So, and maybe you even have competitors that play single player games. Like imagine if an esports org sent someone, they had someone that gets in the Evo. You know, so it's not just random people. It's someone that is affiliated with an organization, and they go to something like Evo, and I like that. I think that that's what it should be, but it's not. So I think that the reach is kind of limited, and I think that's why over in the US at least, we don't really look at esports as a significant thing. Some people do, obviously, but I think for the most part, most people don't. You know, whenever the Game Awards comes around and there's esports org of the year and esports player of the year, most people kind of ignore it, right? They throw it in there and they throw it out of there really fast, and it's not really a big deal. And I think it should be a big deal. But FaZe had a huge shakeup over this past week, and I think it might have been technically the week before, where they dramatically, like, they just suddenly got rid of a bunch of people, and then they kept a bunch of people, and it was interesting to see the list of the people that they kept versus the people that they left, that they got rid of, and these people didn't know. Yeah, I use those moments as bathroom breaks. Those people didn't know. They found out because of those tweets. There's a whole big shakeup going on, but the whole point of me bringing this up was that I don't typically bring that stuff up because that's not something that we normally engage in, and it's not something I'm super knowledgeable about. So we normally don't even bring it up, but I do find those stories interesting. So there's just stuff that we don't always get into. I don't know why we brought that up. Yeah, that's an odd segue. Actually, Dave, you're right. That is a good that would be a good segue into that. Some orgs do that. Like, who does that though? like the only ones that I'm very familiar with, not very familiar, the only ones that I am familiar with by name are FaZe, Optic, Subliners. I mean, 100 Thieves is not really. 100 Thieves isn't a team. Even though 100 Thieves is a team, I think they're a team. Like the city ones, right? Because if FaZe is Atlanta, like I think that's interesting, and I would like to see that come up more. I would like to see, you have these large scale organizations where the players, may compete, and then not even every team. Yeah, 100 Thieves are a team, right? That's Nate Shot's team. Nate is either he's either I know he's the owner, I believe. I know he's the owner, but I don't know how much more his involvement is. No, that's 1001. Call them athletes. More like sadly, none of us that follow that side of the industry, at least when Microsoft follows the actual Xbox consoles, actually talk about it. Cities Skylines. Liquid, Cloud9, Navi, Evil Geniuses, Spirit, TSM. Oh yeah, TSM. I always forget TSM. See, some of those I feel like I heard of Liquid, but I never heard of Cloud9, Navi, Evil Geniuses. Like I haven't heard of them. I don't ever see them anywhere. Maybe that's because I really only pay attention to. Are they a different game, or are they Overwatch? They may be Overwatch League. I never really paid attention to. I've very limited watch on Overwatch League. I mostly watch Call of Duty League. I've heard of Evil Geniuses. Well, like I've heard of the villains, but not the esports team. Oh, okay, so they do that. Okay, so you're saying FaZe has CS:GO players. So they do that. So they do. So again, like I said, I don't pay enough attention to the esports side of things, and I think that's just because it's I don't know. My impression of esports leagues, I think that it's a really cool idea, but unfortunately the times that I have seen leagues outside of esports, it's usually trying to think of a polite way to say this. I often find their antics insufferable. I think that's the way to say it. When you're outside of the game, I do think that I don't particularly think that you need to wear a business suit and conduct yourself right. I don't think you need to be having tea parties, but unless you're doing social links. But I do think that you need to carry yourself with in a somewhat respectable way. If you're having fun, you're having fun. But I do think that you should carry yourself in a you represent the league. One of the things that they teach you in like quote unquote legit sports, professional sports, is that even when you're outside of the games, you do represent the league. You represent the NFL, the NBA. So they normally have rules about how you're supposed to behave, which is why it's often a big deal when they behave badly. A lot of celebrities out there behave badly and maybe don't get enough attention about it. But when you're part of those organizations, you do represent those organizations. You represent the NFL and you represent your team. So when you go out there and you commit crimes or you're just a horrible, horrible person, it does reflect badly on everybody. So I don't think esports players understand that enough. I mean, and you're talking, esports, you're talking about people who are teens. Yeah, tell that the football players. Oh yeah, trust me, they don't all do it. But GG, when you watch them get off the bus because they're going to the game, they're all wearing suits. They do. Obviously, you do have the ones that don't do that. They don't behave the way they're supposed to from a legal standpoint, right? They're criminals and they do all kinds of crap. Not most, just some, But for the most part, when you see them in a setting that is representative of the team in the league, they are wearing suits. They are carrying themselves in a specific way. Again, not all of them, but most of the time you do. There is this this image that you see where all the players get off the bus and they're all wearing suits. Like, there's a way to carry yourself that presents the league and the team in a positive light. And I don't think a lot of esports players understand that. They don't understand the value of that. They don't understand how much it elevates the league when you present it as a respectable thing. If you act like a buffoon and everybody acts like a buffoon, no one wants to engage in it. No one takes it seriously. No one takes it serious. No one's going to take it seriously if you don't take it seriously. They're not. And this is true for anything. They're not. They're not going to. So and esports is kind of weird because you've got teenagers, right? There's people in esports leagues that are just out of high school or still in high school. So it's understandable, these young guys, these young people, all of a sudden they've got this attention that they've never had before. They've got this money that they've never had before. And I'm not saying they're bajillionaires or anything, but it's definitely more money than they had when they were sitting in their room playing Fortnite. So, maybe they don't really understand how to act and they don't understand why it's important, but it is important. And I think that you would go a long way to elevate esports, the league and the concept of esports in general. I think you would go a long way to elevate that if they started to try and ingrain on these players how important it is for the entire thing to be respectable in some way. I'm sorry, I was like ranting and I missed a whole bunch. I don't watch Overwatch. I've seen them across fighting games, Dota, Hearthstone, and CS. CS, I can't get into CS. You know what I can't get into? I can't get into CS. I can't get into Valorant. I don't know. Valorant's nice to look at, but I don't know. I can't really get into it. Overwatch, if I watch enough Overwatch, like when I first watched it, because I never played it. So when I first checked it out, I was like, man, there's a lot happening here, and I'm very confused. But as I watched it more, I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand this. League, I think, is just confusing. I think that it's too much going on the screen, and if you don't play the game, I don't think you're going to have a strong enough understanding of what's happening. It's hard to engage in League of Legends without it. Fortnite, I think it's fine. I think you can engage in Fortnite just fine without understanding, right? The camera's only on one character. It's easy to understand what's happening. Call of Duty's sort of the same thing. Multiplayer Call of Duty, I think, is a little bit more difficult, but I do like watching like Warzone stuff. I like watching kill races and whenever they have, content creators and tournaments of dropping into Warzone, I think that's super interesting. There's Word Brother who keeps being a contrarian in everything we think or say. That's a circus, not an esports team. And the people that do take it seriously are only focused on the profit, not opening that can of worms. But with the Smash stuff, most of the esports players complaining were those whose wallets got affected. Attitude and manners matter if you want to be seen as respectable and if you want people to take the sport seriously. And I do, and that's the one thing. That's the one thing that bugs me the most about esports is that I think it should be better. I think that the leagues should be better. I think that the players should be better, and I think they should want to be better. And I don't mean better at the game. I mean better at representing what they do and who they are in a respectable way. I think that esports should be more popular. I think that we talk about how we wish there were tournament scenes for so many games. But you don't get one of the best ways to get that is to get people interested in competitive gaming in general. And sure, there are different types of competitive gaming, but having them all get attention. What is it? What's the phrase? The rising tide raises all ships. I think anywhere in esports and anywhere in competitive gaming, if you raise it to a more respectable level, the concept of competitive gaming becomes more respectable and people will want to engage in it. And I don't think that that's happening enough. I don't think that there's enough being done. And it's not an overnight fix. You can't just suddenly tell all of these people they need to start wearing suits and they need to start watching how they behave in public. You can't just immediately tell them. But if you start to breed that culture, if you start to get people to understand that early on, maybe you do. Maybe in 5 or 10 or 20 years, you do have a much more respectable environment where people want to be a part of that. They want to get involved, and they want to be good. They want to be good within it. And it's a shame, because I do think esports is kind of a really cool thing. But again, we don't normally talk about that. But we just had a whole conversation about something that we don't normally talk about, based on the premise that we don't normally talk about it. I have no interest in watching esports shooters at all. In games like LoL and StarCraft, yes, LoL and StarCraft are just confusing. I don't know. I Ronan, you never watched and there's other stuff too, right? There's you got, I've talked about Gran Turismo and watching the Gran Turismo races, and watching Gran Turismo races is incredible. It's the Sony ones, the PlayStation Cup races are fantastic. Everything about them is just fantastic. The presentation, the commentary, like everything about it is just great. See, they're confusing if you don't know the rules. And a lot of that comes down to the game. Like we said, League is very busy. If you don't play the game, you don't really... StarCraft, if you don't play the game, you don't really understand what's going on. Gran Turismo, you understand what's going on. You understand what driving, what racing is. Right? You understand driving a car around the track and being first. Fortnite, for instance, you understand killing all of the other competitors and being the last one standing. Like, there are games that, even if you don't understand some of the specific rules, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, you don't really understand the rules of the sport, but you understand one fundamental thing. Whoever has the most points at the end wins the game. So it's even if you don't know the rules, you can engage in those sports. You can engage in watching them and say, oh, okay, they have more points, so they're winning. Whereas with League or something like that, I look at it and I think, I have no idea who's winning. I don't know what's happening. There's no big giant scoreboard. There's nothing that makes me feel like I know what's going on. And that makes it harder to engage in. The recently implemented sentry detection program they use in Val, which is kernel level. Let's make class like a Smash competitive scene as a whole. I see why they have trouble getting and they do. They kind of do. That's why I'm more in favor of how Capcom and to a degree Nintendo to be the better alternatives of them. Either something properly monitored or fully controlled, but to be followed and supported, not rejected for the sake of personal desire. Yeah, I Nintendo, you can not like what they do with the tournament scene all you want, but I think those Splatoon tournaments are really interesting. I think that they exist in a controlled environment. I think that the players don't stand up there and they don't carry on and act like idiots. I think that in the off time, I've never gotten a news report come across my Google feed that Splatoon players have caused some sort of trouble somewhere. You know what I mean? And if you did, Nintendo wouldn't want anything to do with them, right? We've seen that with the Smash situation. You can argue about that all you want, but you can also argue that it's better for the environment. For not the trees and the air, but like it's better for the competitive environment if they make sure people understand that sort of behavior is not tolerated. Hold on, I'm going down. Capcom, the whole reason they're hard on DRM is because their esports scene got a player with mods on. Let's just say, the whole Channel 8 thing. RTS sports like StarCraft sound like a headache. It's just difficult to watch. If you know the game, then you'll understand it. But if you don't know the game, you can't. And that's the biggest problem with sports in general, is that if you only sold football to people who play football, it would not really make a ton of money. The average football player doesn't play football regularly, if at all. So it's difficult to expand on on esports when it requires so many different games and it requires people to actually understand those games. That's why there's value in games like Gran Turismo, for instance, where the concept is very simple. If you're first, you win. And sure, there's a lot of intricacies around that. NASCAR, you can say that, oh, NASCAR, they drive around in a big oval, but it's actually pretty intricate. Drafting, understanding your car, your setup for your car, they're going 200 miles an hour, so it's definitely not safe. Like, there's actually a lot going for them driving around a big oval. There's a lot happening in NASCAR. But if you don't understand that, you look at it and you say they're just going around in a big circle, but you'll still understand that whoever is further ahead is winning. You will always still understand that. And that is what makes it accessible. See, as someone who now plays Gran Turismo with a steering wheel, you don't watch Pro GT at all? It's so good, though. Are you, Ronan, or are you just mad because their wheels are better, right? Because they've got those Fanatec wheels that are $3,000. StarCraft is like a live scoreboard, but that also does not really reflect the real situation. Speaking of which, cannot wait for the next Nintendo. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. Yeah, I forgot we wanted to jump into that. I go to a Splatoon tournament cosplaying as a blooper from Mario. It's a healthier environment, but often hardcore players don't want health; they want purity, and that's fine. You can have your purity all you want. You can go and you can. It's I think of it, Dragoon. It's the difference between a sanctioned boxing match and bare knuckle boxing in behind the bar. If you want to go to your underground smash league, you can go right ahead. But not everybody wants that environment. They don't want that toxicity. They want something where they can play the game and not have to worry about a bunch of weirdos, or what is labeled as a bunch of weirdos. The main sport I watch nowadays is Formula One, and that is hilarious. It also helps that the content creators that cover Formula One are also funny. You don't know the basic knowledge of what driving a car is. Driving in a circle is harder than it sounds. I understand NASCAR. It still bores me. I'm more F1 fan. Though it's not that interesting to see these. And GG, and it's funny because you're not a NASCAR fan, but not because you don't understand it. It's because you understand it, and you understand that there's a better version of it. Because I will say that NASCAR fans just haven't discovered Formula One. I think Formula One racing is way more interesting. And you can still drink beer. You can still hang out. You can't hang out in the infield, but you can still drink beer while you watch Formula One. Go right ahead. Unfettered support for anything they do. That's the Smash issue. I need that 600. I put into that. The 600 will more than make up for. Wait, what's happening here? Nintendo better not C&D my job's Mario Kart tournament. I think you're fine. I think you're okay there. Yeah, NASCAR is always kind of weird because people act like they don't want the drivers to crash, but then they get all excited when there's a crash. It's like, you probably shouldn't be excited about that, All right. So the other topic that sort of came up, this is a weird one, because this is a very early topic. This is something that we don't have a ton of information. A lot of this is speculation, but Pioro, who is the sort of leaker, they posted an image the other day. Let me see. Hold on. I got to find the image first. So the image that they posted was of the NWC tournament cartridge. And let's see if I can find it here. Wait, there we go. Okay, here it is. So they posted an image yesterday of the NWC tournament cartridge. And that was all they posted. If they didn't say anything else. It's just a picture of an NWC cartridge, which immediately sent the internet abuzz, right? Everybody was thinking about what they're saying here. Some people speculated that that Nintendo was going to be holding another tournament. Some people thought, which is kind of what I thought, that they were just going to bring this to the Switch Online service. There are other tournaments is the thing. There are other tournament cartridges. There were other tournaments, the Campus Challenge and stuff. So, I was wondering if maybe this was like they were going to bring a bunch of them over, or maybe they were going to make one compilation that was all of the tournament games, or if they were going to make a new one. like if there was going to be some sort of tournament challenge. I did see, I thought about the NES remix game, and then I did see that was trending for a little bit. So I think maybe that's what some people thought, was that maybe they were doing another, like a new NES remix, and then that was going to have some sort of challenge mode built into it, which would be very cool. NES remix was incredibly cool. I didn't get it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find one for the Wii U, so I do got to get that game. But like there was a lot of speculation about what this possibly meant. I think John Carter proved this. You can post whatever if you guessed you're a leaker or an insider. Yeah, NES remix is a lot of fun. For what little I played, I just never bought a copy of it. So following all of this, today, NES NWC. Hang on one second here. So this it's on a bunch of different sites. I'm just looking at Shaq News right now. SHACK, not SHAQ, not the basketball player. Marine ad. I don't care that the future is threatened. Leave me alone. I was hoping for the tournament, but I'll take a game. You don't need a PSN account to join the Marines. To do your part. Yeah, how do you know you don't need you need a PSN account to join the Marines. It's going to be that NES remix is a blast. Wouldn't this have been really cool to have had revealed and not spoiled potentially months before it comes out? Sure doesn't ruin any of that. I'll agree with you, but I will also say that we don't know the extent of this, so we'll see what happens. But I do agree that I do think kind of this would be cool if it just kind of came out of nowhere. I think that would be a lot more fun. And it would be cool. Other Nintendo system remixes like N64 remix or SNES, GBA. I mean, that would just be awesome. That would be awesome. People really saw that and thought 4 SKUs for. Yeah, that was the other thing, Marcos. I think that was the big thing. Here, let me link. Let me give you the Pioro copy link. I'm gonna give you. This is the tweet that the Pioro linked here, so you can look at it. This is the picture of the cartridge that they posted. So. People were looking at different things. Let's play a game here. Let's do what everybody else was probably doing. All right. More than likely, this is just a stock image off of Twitter, off of the internet. All right, off of Google. Google is what I'm trying to think of. Let's say that this is just a regular stock image. Nothing about this image is altered. There's probably nothing to talk about here. So let's instead say that of all the NWC cartridge pictures that are on the internet, they chose this one. Why would they choose this one? This is, by the way, I feel like I need to I'm going to reference this. I'm going to say this probably a couple more times. This is all ridiculous speculation. This is all for entertainment purposes. I do not believe any of this. All right? But let's take a look here. So we have cartridge number 0260. What could that mean? That could mean that we're getting an announcement in somehow in June, right? We got 02 is the day, 6 is the month. That means June 2nd, we're getting an announcement about the Switch 2. Let's see. We've got on the dip switches here, switches number 1, 2, and 4 are down, and number 3 is up. Number 1 is the original Switch. Number 2 is the Switch OLED. Does the 3 being up mean that this is a tease for the Switch 2? Do you see how stupid that's... What about the Switch Lite? No one's counting the Switch Lite. No one's counting the Switch Lite because Dave, we don't count the Switch Lite because it goes against my theory. Is why we ignore it. But it says 5. Oh, so you have to add 5 months. Oh no, wait, hold on. Switch 3 is up. Oh, wait. Switch 3 is up, and Switch 3 is 1 minute and 15 seconds. So what does that mean? 1M. I'm sorry, 1M. Does that mean that we are 1 month away from the Switch 2? Is that what that means? We're 1 month away from 15 Switches. That's what the 15S is for. That's what it is. 5 months is the game release, so it will come out November of Black Friday. Oh, AGM, because you have to remember the 5th of November. We did it. We cracked the code. That's it. The Switch 2 releases on Guy Fawkes Day. We've done it. If the stream goes off suddenly, Nintendo has sent the ninjas. All right, they've discovered what we're doing here. Guy Fawkes for Smash. Somber. No. Guy Wolf is already in the game. Let's see. Believes whatever this would be. It's a $30 game, not an app game. I did see that. I saw. He's not the only one I saw speculating about that too. Shiny Honey, did I miss the crackpot? Oh, we're in the middle of the crackpot theory here. So what else do we have here? What else? The 4 is down. By the way, the 4 is also down. So we don't know. So does that mean so the 3 being up is going to be the Switch 2. So does the 4 being there mean that there is also a Switch Pro? Switch 2 Pro on the way. That's going to be the 4th system. Again, we're not counting the Switch Lite because it makes me look stupid. Oh, the 4 is down because the PS4 died for the PS5. So yeah, but that's sort of what happened, right? As goofy as all of that sequence was, that's basically what happened, right? I feel like that's an over-exaggeration, but at the same time, this did trigger people talking about the Switch 2. It did trigger people asking what all of the numbers meant, why this particular cartridge, like the normal speculation stuff. Yeah, you're not going to be in the remake of the Da Vinci Code. Jerv, what are you talking about? This is the remake of the Da Vinci Code. So it might be a $30 DLC for Nintendo Switch Sports. See, I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be DLC for a game. I think it'll be something different. Well, hold on. So that was yesterday. That was all yesterday. So today, let me see here. Is this the right article? Okay, no. So this is the right article. So an article came up this morning. Nintendo World Championship NES Edition rated for Switch by the ESBR. Or the ESRB. So there was a game rated for the Switch. So that at the very least, because I don't think that this is speculation. This is legit. So this was confirmed. So there is a game. This is a game that is coming to the Switch. What I'm curious about is, do they normally rate games that are going to show up on the service? Because this could easily just be coming to the Nintendo app, right? To the NSO. Or is this going to be an actual game that you buy? Yeah, they don't normally rate stuff that's coming to the NSO because they're old games. So this is going to be something for retail. This is going to be something that they are going to sell. Possibly physically, we don't really know, but I would imagine just digitally. Yeah, the apps have a singular rating. So this is going to be something that is sold. But that's really all we know. That's it. we don't know if they're selling this in conjunction. Like, all of these things some of these things could be true. We don't know if this is in conjunction with a tournament that they plan on holding. You know, maybe they do plan on having some sort of Nintendo World Championship, whether it is a modified version of this or it is a brand new championship. We've had multiple championships before. Hey, Ryan, yeah, hello. We've had championships before. We've had the Nintendo World Championships in 90. I think they did another one a couple years later. We had the Campus Challenge, which was 93 or 94. Obviously, we had a thing a few years ago where they tried to bring it back. But what was the thing a few years ago? What was the game that they played a couple years ago? Was that the one that they played Dr. Mario? What was the one that they played Dr. Mario? Nintendo Championship. See, I feel like if I search Nintendo Championship games. Yeah, see, it's all gonna be that. 2017 they did one. Yeah, that was the one in 2017. So they have done this. They have been doing something it's relatively tournament related to an extent. So there is a possibility. I wouldn't actually be surprised if they do something where it's kind of like Tetris 99, right? Tetris 99, that game exists on its own as a multiplayer experience, but they also do those tournaments. They used to do those where it was like the Maximus Challenge, and then you had all weekend, and if you were one of the like top 1,000 or 10,000 players, you got what was it, like 10, like you got like 1,000 gold coins. So, which was basically $10 on the shop. Like they did that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of do that, where it's a sort of it's a sort of NES remix with some challenges. Like, it might be an NES remix with some challenge modes in it, and then maybe they can use it for some sort of not a giant, right? Not Nintendo World Championships 2025, not the tournament at the end of the Wizard. Right. It would just be, hey, we're gonna do a challenge this week, and kind of like how when you log into Smash Bros. And they've got the special weekends where you have to use certain characters, or it's like a bracket weekend. So they might be able to do something like that. And so, hey, this weekend or check out the first weekend in June, we're gonna be doing the special monthly challenge. And then maybe it's NES Remix or something along those lines where it will pick games with objectives. And then, all right, so for June, you have to play Donkey Kong Country, and you have to get past the first 2 levels. And then it switches over to the first level of Super Mario Bros. Or you got to get 100 coins in Super Mario Bros. And, and they can change it. They can keep doing different things all the time. Like, it's all speculation, but that's the sort of thing that they can do. So that's why I say, like, yeah, it would be cool if this kind of came out of nowhere, but at the same time, we also don't know the extent of what they're doing with this. So this could actually end up being kind of interesting. Not with that attitude. Do you think this will be a new thing or a collection of the championship games? I don't know what I would think of it as. It could be both, is the thing. Is if you look at every championship game compilation that they've had. So what did the original game had? Super Mario Bros, Rad Racer, and Tetris. The Campus Challenge, let me see if I can find a Campus Challenge. Campus Challenge games. 6 minutes to collect 25 coins in Super Mario Bros. 3, and then 100 and score 100,000 points in Pinbot, with any remaining time being spent in Dr. Mario. So you could possibly just release these games on a thing. Like, if you did an NES remix of all of these games, in that remix, you could have something that kind of plays all of these. Or vice versa, you could have a tournament cartridge and then it has the playable versions of the games on them or something. Like, I just think that there's a bunch of ways that you could sort of do this and still have something that is interesting and surprising for us. The official website. Let me look at can I look at the official website here? It says Nintendo World Championship, and this is the big thing. When you go to the ESRB rating, it says Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. So there might actually be different versions of this that come out if it comes out digitally. They could be releasing these separately. You could get the NES Edition, and then later there's an SNES Edition, there's a N64 Edition, and then somewhere down the road they release one cartridge that has them all. I don't know. I just think that there's something you can do here. I think that this could end up being kind of interesting. I wouldn't mind. I love if you've never played it, I think the tournament cartridge is a lot of fun. I think that it's I went to that in 90. I was actually there. I think that it's a lot of fun. I think that it's a really cool cartridge. It's like modified versions of all three games. It's the best I ever scored. I think the best I ever scored was like 2.1 million. The person who ended up winning, I think, scored over 4 million. Was it Thor? It's Thor Ackerlund is the one that won the 90 tournament, I think. Kind of like they have a speedrunner's dream game for the NES. On a rental, I believe really to be discussed about issue. Hoping for NES and Game Boy. Yeah, like NES edition, Game Boy edition. Like these would be really cool if they sort of did that. This could be a new thing for the NSO service. That's what I was asking, Sims. I don't know, because that's why I was asking earlier. I don't think that they would rate a game for the NSO service, because the NSO service apps, they have their own rating. So you wouldn't have the ESRB wouldn't have to rate a game that was coming to the service. It would have to rate a game that was going to be sold as a standalone game. So this is most likely this is a standalone download thing. Oh, you think it could be a new app? I don't know, because the ESRB page has like stores listed here. So I don't know if that's just a normal thing, or I just feel like there's a lot of... Hold on, let's read the actual page. This is a collection of 2D challenges and platformer... Rating summary. This is a collection of 2D challenges and platformer games in which players traverse through various modes, e.g. speedrun or survival. Excuse me. Several challenges involve reaching specific points, while others prompt players to defeat small enemies or survive brief battles. Some games depict pixelated characters using small swords or arrows to strike at enemies. Enemies typically get stunned or disappear in a flash. All right. Hold on. Zelda and Kid Icarus were the first things that came to mind. What comes to mind more? No, I don't think it'll be an NSO thing. I don't think it's going to be an... That's what we were saying, Ryan, is that they wouldn't rate this game separately to come to an NSO service. The fact that this is getting a separate rating means this is going to be a separate download. We don't know how much it's going to be, though. This could be $5. I doubt it's going to be $5. So there's speculation that it's going to be a $30 game. But again, we also don't know how involved it is. Some games depict pixelated characters using small swords or arrows to strike at enemies. The original NES game was Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris. None of those contain swords or arrows. This is going to be a bunch of games. This is going to be a lot of games. And it's probably going to be a rotation of challenges from different games. This might be NES Remix. They're labeling it something differently, but that might be because that's what NES Remix was, right? It was a bunch of like mini games based off of modified versions of those games. That could be what this is. So I'm very curious to see what this is. I genuinely, I'm interested. Wasn't there an NWC SNES card? That was the Campus Challenge. Campus Challenge 94, I want to say. I thought it was later. That's the one that was, where do I have it? I have it here. Collect 25 coins in Mario 3, score 100,000 points in Pinbot, and any remaining time being spent with Dr. Mario. Campus Challenge 91. I'm sorry. It was Campus Challenge 91. I could have sworn there was a second one, too. I thought there was one with Donkey Kong Country. Hear me out. It's going to be NWC. Is that it'll be a collection or a separate app, most likely a retail game. Fully PvP. You do challenge runs with your friends and play leaderboards. We need to ask the real question. Will it run at 60 frames? Good question. Good question. NES Remix also included a Nintendo World Championship mode where you played Mario, Super Mario Bros., Mario 3, and Dr. Mario. So this could be something like that. This could be something where it is but it could be like a random challenge where you can go online with a bunch of people, make a lobby, and then you go online and you pick randomized, and then it will pick challenges from 3 random games. You know, there could be something like that. I think there's a lot to do here. I think that this is interesting, and I think that there's kind of a lot to do here. This is cool. I like this. I'm genuinely interested in this. No, because the Switch is a pile of garbage. 30 frames. Take it or leave it. But can it run Doom 3? I mean, Kia, I think at this point the question is, does it want to run Doom 3? Right? Proton John played DK Country on a comp cart a few years ago. The tournament version? As a fan of NES Remix, smaller burst NES games are always a treat because they don't stick around long enough for the BS to set in for many. Yeah, I think that this is a cool idea. I like this. I want to see this happen. Alrighty. Hi, buddy. All right, buddy. I still say we need to replace Can It Run Crisis with Can It Run 1.0, because I think any system capable of running Final Fantasy 1.0, I think that's something that should be studied. I think that's a cool benchmark that we need to get to. Have a Gonzalez. It's going to be an expansion on that mode from NES Remix across multiple games. I like it. Ooh, Ghosts and Goblins. Wait, hold on. I don't like it anymore. I gotta pick up. How much is NES Remix? NES Remix on the Wii U. NES Remix Wii U. How much is that? It's like $10. Oh wait, never mind. Hold on. No, it's not $10. Oh my god. Why are there sponsored? It's like $20. It looks like it's $20. That's not bad. Ghosts and Goblins sucks, by the way. NES Ghosts and Goblins is a terrible game. It's horrible. Everything is wrong with it. Everything that can be wrong with that game is wrong with that game. I thought Wii U games were digital only. No. There are plenty of physical games out there. Maybe they will host actual. That's what I'm thinking, Mr. L. I wouldn't mind not even actual cups, Mr. L. It just if they did the Tetris 99 thing where they used to do the Maximus Cup where the top scorers for like the top 1,000 people that score over the weekend, they get 1,000 coins, and then maybe the top 10 get 5,000 coins, right? They get $50 or something. I think that would be kind of cool. I think that'd be a lot of fun to do that. We know NES Remix, at least combined with the 3DS port, did sell well. Wasn't the 3DS port 3DS port? Wasn't that 2 parts? Wasn't there like NES Remix 1 and 2 on the 3DS? Maybe this is the kind of thing they might give away for free for NSO members. And that's the other thing, Mr. L. It's that the ESRB rating means that this is not coming for free to the service, but it could, like, it's not coming to like the NES games app, but it could come to the service as a free game if it's a free download. And I guess maybe Ryan, that's what you were saying. If it's a free download, it would still be considered a separate thing that would require a rating, but they're giving it to you for free. So that could be it. Oh, that's a good. Was F-Zero 99 rated? I mean, F-Zero 99 was kind of. I feel like if it was rated, it was kind of a surprise. That's a good question, though. Oh, it wasn't rated. So maybe no. So maybe ESRB rating it does mean, it is a retail thing. It was 2 parts. It was a collection of both. Oh, it's a collection of both parts in one cart. Okay. Yeah, F-099 just kind of popped up. So I don't know if we ever saw that. Can you search that on... I'm on the ESRB website. Can you search that? Search ratings? No, not contact. Search ESRB game rating. F0... GX is there, but not 99. Yeah, F-099 is not there. F-0GX is there. Tetris 99 is on the ratings, is on the rating system. So that was a free game that eventually had in-game purchases, but that was on there. So yeah, this could be. Oh wait, Pac-Man 99. Oh, Pac-Man 99 isn't on there. Oh wait, is it not with a dash? Nope. Pac-Man 99 is not on there. Although that's not a real thing anymore. Yeah, Tetris. You're right. Tetris 99 also got a physical release. Yes, that might be it. Tetris 99. Yeah, it did. So, what's a free game? Well, no, because these got in-store ratings in store. I typed Fortnite. Yeah, Sims. That's exactly what I typed. I typed Fortnite. Fortnite did have an in-store thing, but there was nothing in the box. But I guess that's also true for Tetris 99. Tetris 99 had an in-store sale, but there was nothing in the box. Yeah. Now we're Dragoon. This is it. This is what we're doing. Is we're deep diving now. Yeah, I think that it's going to have to be a separate, like ESRB wouldn't. ESRB, as far as we can tell, wouldn't rate it unless there was something to buy in the store. It doesn't seem like I can't think of a free to play game. What's a free to play game that had nothing, that they never sold anything in the store for? Master Duel? Master Duel's got a rating. Yeah, the NSO yeah, they rate the whole app, I believe. Yeah, I can't think of Apex. Did Apex not have a physical? Apex is up. They've got that. F-099. Wait, you found it? I can't find it. It doesn't come up. On the Nintendo store. Yeah, I'm on the ESRB website and it doesn't come up. Interesting. Yeah, that's why it rates the apps. No, but if it rates the apps, it won't rate the game separately. But yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked doing that. Now I'm gonna be searching the ESRB ratings all day. But yeah, ultimately, I think this is a pretty cool idea. I'm curious to see what comes of this. We'll see how long it takes. I feel like this is probably going to be something that gets announced in June when Nintendo has their inevitable direct. I don't think that we're going to get a direct before that. So I feel like June is going to be the next big one. We did already start getting announcements. Xbox, I believe June 9th, they announced theirs, which is cool because if you live in the US, their presentation is 6/9. So that's very nice. But we did start getting, so I do think that they're gonna keep up the spirit of E3 by having more events at that time. All right, I don't have anything other than that. I think that was the last. Give me a second here. Hang on 1 second here. Okay. They didn't have anything left. I mean, they got nothing new left, right? This is all old stuff. There's also a new COD. There's also a new COD at the Xbox event. Yeah, I saw some speculation about that. I saw some speculation that they were going to be, the new Call of Duty's coming up. I don't know. I don't know if it's too soon. Later, Kia, have a good one. Oh, you know what? I was at the store. Unfortunately, the retro game store that opened up a couple years ago, they're closing at the end of the month. I think June 2nd is their last day, so I'm kind of pissed off about that. But I was looking through their stuff there. It was disc only, but they had Black Ops 3. And Ronan, I think it was Ronan that was telling me that I might like Black Ops 3. So I'm like, do I buy this? It was $9, but it was just the disc. Well, it was $10, but it was just the disc. So I'm like, do I buy this? Or I don't know. I never played a Call of Duty before, like actual through the game. So I'm like, I don't know. Let me think about it. Let's sleep on it and see how I feel. Or if I even want to buy that copy, or if I want to get a copy with the case. They also had it on PS3, but I'll buy the PS4 version. That's just more convenient for me. You need to not look at just F2P, Nintendo F2P, because we need to base it on their history of the early raid. Oh yeah, you're kind of right about that. Black Ops 3 is fine. Not the must-have of COD games, but you'll like it. Everyone says the zombies mode in Black Ops 3 is really good. Yeah, that's what people like. I know Ronan was mentioning that, and everybody says that they like the zombies. Like I always hear, whenever I hear about Call of Duty games being good, I always hear about zombies. I don't know. I never played through a Call of Duty game. I feel like Modern Warfare, the one that came out when Warzone was out, when Warzone first came out. What is it? Modern Warfare 2019. I've had people tell me that was a good game. The Black Ops games I keep hearing are not great. The later ones, Cold War and Vanguard, I keep hearing bad things about those, so I feel like I'm probably just going to stay away from them. Oh, but I need a PSN account. Damn. Well, to be fair, I am playing it on PSN. I'm playing it on PlayStation, so that makes sense. I haven't heard about COD since Modern Warfare 3 back in 2011. Remember that Nintendo may still want to put out some kind of new release in the service outside of the retro apps. So it could be that. That could be what the tournament thing is. I need a Microsoft account. Oh no, I need a Microsoft account to play Call of Duty on my PlayStation. I still hate that during the zombie craze, we never got a Star Wars Death Trooper game officially. It took until now to get a fan game, and it was super short and great. The problem, Lilac, is that when was the zombie craze? What, mid tens? Right? Wasn't it around then? Where was Star Wars at that point? Star Wars was in a massive state of transition around that time. Best I can do is Ewok Hunt. Ghost was just okay. Cold War was just not good to me. I need a Uplay account. Oh God, never mind. I'm not playing it. Yeah, around the middle, I would say the middle tens that was the height of The Walking Dead, and that was the craze. But Star Wars was in a massive state of flux right there, right? It was in a massive lull that nothing was happening. It was transitioning over to Disney. That was when I want to say 2015 was The Purge, right? Wasn't that the great schism of Star Wars when they decided that there was an expanded universe and then there was the canon universe? Funny you say that. I bring attention to Star Wars Death Trooper 2, which is on Endor with zombie troopers and zombie Ewoks. I'm kind of interested in that now. Did you already talk about there being a GBA emulator on the App Store? It's called Delta Emulator. For those interested, those physical copies are getting expensive. No, we didn't talk about that. I'm not familiar with that. I know that there was a whole big thing about emulator apps being on the Apple App Store or whatever, but I'm just not too familiar with it. I think I've seen a video of somebody testing it out and saying that it works okay, but then no one's really talking about it. It was, but the zombie craze was still going strong after EU Battlefront came out. Yeah, but then Battlefront had a bunch of problems. Like Battlefront wasn't in the best place. Like, I don't know. I feel like, and bear in mind, like games take years to develop. So if the zombie craze was already dying down, and even if somebody presented the idea, they would have told them it's going to take 2 years to make, and they would have said, "Don't worry about it." I don't know. I'm not too surprised by that. When I consider, I'm not surprised by that, considering that if Star Wars was in a position where they would have experimented with a game like that, we would have seen a lot more regular Star Wars content. You know, we would have probably seen the revival of 1313. We would have seen some of these other games. We would have seen a remaster of Knights of the Old Republic. And Star Wars at that time just wasn't there. It just wasn't. It wasn't in the public eye in a particularly positive light. You know, we still had. I think Clone Wars was probably done around then. Clone Wars was done. Clone Wars was on hiatus. We did. I think at the time Clone Wars was finished for what it had, and then when it went to another service, it got revived. Right? Wasn't there a gap between season 5 and then 6 and then 7, or was it just between 6 and 7, where everybody thought the show was kind of dead, and then it got more stuff? So you had that, like, when the split happened and they decided that there was going to be expanded universe and canon universe, Rebels wasn't out yet. And they had said that the only things that were canon were the OG movies, the prequel movies, Clone Wars, the Clone Wars movie, and the upcoming Rebels series. I do remember that being a specific thing, that they had said that from the new Rebels series was going to be the next new thing in the canon universe. So a lot of the stuff they had just kind of gotten rid of, and you know, everybody was kind of pissed about that. Like, there were a lot of people that were upset. I still to this day think that was a good idea. Battlefront was well received. People felt no single player was lacking. It was just I'm thinking of Battlefront 2. Okay, I'll give you that. I was thinking of Battlefront 2 when I was thinking of like all the Battlefront problems. No one talking about it because if you really want to emulate on iOS, you already hacked your phone. So now that it's officially allowed, it's exciting, but more a neat than, oh my God, it's here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like people were crazy about it. Not to mention you have to own an Apple device. It doesn't help. You can confirm me in this case. Isn't it vertical only? Oh, I have no idea. I mean, vertical only is still, yeah. AGM, you're also playing on a 4, like it's a 4:3 sort of screen. So, or if it's GBA, it's like a weird format. But I think it lends well to playing it vertically because you're only using the top half of the screen anyway. Do like the layouts they place. Obviously, the N64 is a joke of a layout, but they're not God. I would say being able to have all of your ROMs. There we go. ROMs on the iCloud is pretty nice. All right, it took me a second there. I love that people cried about them removing the legend storage from canon after also being the people bitching that Rey was OP. Meanwhile, in Legends, Luke was a near god. He used the Force to move black holes, could do nearly anything. Yeah, it was always kind of weird. I never really understood the whole, like, oh my God, they removed all this content. And it's, to be fair, though, there was a concern, and I think people were justified in being afraid of this. There was a concern that they were going to throw it all out, and I think that's why. And like you can attest to this. People were very excited when they started seeing Legend stuff come into canon, and there was a good reason for that. Is because it felt like they were throwing it out, so we were never going to see it again. Now imagine that. Imagine Star Wars now. If there was no chance that you saw Revan, or you saw any of the Knights of the Old Republic characters, or even those storylines, or even maybe that era. It was nice. It was nice to, you know, Thrawn was Legends content technically. So what if there was no shot that you were going to see Thrawn? You know, like they were justified in being concerned about that, but to be in a panic, like to think that it was a good idea. It was a good idea. They didn't immediately say expanded universe, canon universe, and then we will bring things in. They said expanded universe, canon universe, here's what's canon, everything else is getting thrown out. So that was justifiable to be concerned because those were cool stories. And it's a shame that people went for a while thinking, uh-oh, We're not going to get Thrawn. We're not going to get Dark Empire. We're not going to get any of these things. Because I'll be honest, I'm kind of pissed that Shadows of the Empire isn't canon. I like Shadows of the Empire. I read the book. I didn't play the game, actually. I read the book, though. And I'm kind of bummed out that that's not canon. And we haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen Dash Rendar. We haven't seen Prince Shizor. We didn't see any of that stuff pop up yet. Pixel Daisy. Yay. Oh, I'm sorry. You need to connect your MySpace account to talk about Star Wars. Damn it. All right. Damn it, Microsoft. You strike again. Yeah, I mean, there was a time when people said the prequels weren't canon, and they didn't want to believe that they were canon. You know, and it's which is always funny to me because the prequels now, like, you still have the haters of the prequels, but there's still people, there are people that think that the prequel era is their favorite. For the Delta emulator, yes, for iOS, the problem is most emulators on Apple devices is that the emulator needs to be trusted by the device. Up to a point, the device wouldn't trust the emulator anymore, and you'd have to download it again, and tough luck if you didn't back up your saves. People were upset popular stuff was disappearing and the current stuff wasn't what they wanted. Star Wars had rebounded since then. It was a good idea, just bad timing. So yeah, so I can't fault them for not making, I can't fault them for really making any game, not making any games at the time, let alone something that even now would probably be a little experimental to say zombie death troopers on Endor. But right, you're putting a lot of risk in that sentence, enticing people to want to engage in it. And that's now when I think Star Wars is much more popular than it was in 2015 when people were adamantly hating it. And just mad in general at it. Now, I don't know. I'd like to see something. It says, it's almost like people shouldn't jump to conclusions instantly at the slightest division. I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. Only current criticisms of Star Wars, but I get it, is that you can tell one or two of their shows were meant to be movies. Obi-Wan specifically, I think that should have been a movie. I think that would have worked much, much better as a movie. Cut out a lot of the fluff. You cut out some of the characters. You make the whole thing a bit more streamlined. 2.5 hours tops. I think that you turn that into a pretty good movie. And I kind of wish that they had done that with that. And you really did. I know that it didn't really ruin the show for me, but you really did kind of mess up the High Inquisitor. Your Grand Inquisitor. They messed that up. Can we just say that? Sure, it wasn't so bad that it took me out of the show completely, but it did kind of take me out of the show. There was no reason he should have looked like that. Take goes both ways. Shouldn't jump to conclusions, but you also aren't obligated to just be like, this is fine. Yeah, I should not. I also shouldn't have to just accept it and hope that it works out. I should be able to say, I got kind of a problem with this. A little sad that Ace Azamin from the X1 Alliance games, only a random name you can get in Squadrons. Oh, okay. So yeah, like I think that there's some stuff that they, would be kind of cool to bring back. They had the Dark Forces remaster, and I think people wouldn't mind seeing something like that. So I do think that there are things that you could do with Star Wars still that are maybe experimental, or some of them are just really cool. It sucks that they never did the Walker, like a Walker sort of game where you control an Imperial Walker or something. I think that would be kind of cool. I took it as the same thing that happened with Count Dooku, how his TCW and live action versions were drastically different. TCW stuck his head in a vice. Yeah, and it worked out really well. And it worked out extremely well. So there's some, I still say my example is always going to be the idea of Darth Maul not being dead was something that I rolled my eyes so hard at. And after everything that happened with him, I was like, man, that was a good decision. When I remember the first time I heard Robot Legs Darth Maul, and I said, what? what are you talking about? And then I saw it happen in the show, and I was like, all right, I'll accept this and try not to roll my eyes too difficult at it. And by the end, I was sitting there like, I mean, he just wanted revenge. Like, all right, I mean, he was a bad guy, but you know, but he had feelings. I didn't see CW make him an actual character that people found endearing. Robot arm Luke and Anakin makes as much sense as robot leg. Yeah, and that was why I was like, yeah, I guess it does kind of make sense. Still, but there's a difference between getting your arm cut off and getting cut in half at the torso. One of those should kill you. Can't wait for Maul to return in Ahsoka season 2 with a robot torso. Yeah, man so angry being sliced in half, his blood vaporized, falls into a nearly bottomless pit, too mad to die, but people being stabbed in the side and surviving is unrealistic. Yeah, that's where it's like, come on, guys, you have to. I don't know. My whole issue with that, because I know what you're talking about. My whole issue with that is that you can't, like, at some point. I mean, this is something that I always say. We're probably going to wrap up soon because I don't really have anything. I don't want to play a game for the last half hour, but at some point you have to let characters die, and this is something that I constantly complain about. And that's my problem with that's one of my problems with that in Star Wars. It's like, oh, she got stabbed in the side. Don't worry, she'll be fine. What's her name? Fennec Shand got shot in the gut. Don't worry, she's got a robot torso now. She's fine. And it's just like, all right, but you're really, you're very conveniently not killing off too many characters. It should be significant. Like Maul, we accept because we liked what eventually happened. But at the beginning, it was kind of like, what? Are you serious? But at this point, what characters died? That why couldn't we go and rescue Han Solo? He only got shot in the stomach and fell. Why couldn't we rescue him? Where's the rescue of Luke? Where's the rescue of Leia? Where, you know what I mean? It does start to become this thing where you can come up with, if you're going to allow any explanation to why they survived, you start to question whether or not characters are actually dead. And that's not what you should do. You shouldn't do that. You should have, death should mean something. When your character gets stabbed in the torso, why did Fennec survive getting shot in the torso with a robot torso, but Qui-Gon is dead? You know what I mean? Like it just become, and I'm not trying to like challenge the whole thing. It does sort of start to, it devalues death. And we got a death, Cad Bane. Maybe because we also should have lost what's his name? And he's no, Lilac. The theory is that Cad Bane is still alive because his little light thingy was blinking when he was laying there. So the theory is that he's still alive. So that's what I mean, is you have these moments where characters die, and this is, I'm talking about Star Wars, but this is a problem that I have with all media right now, is that you have these moments where these characters die and it's impactful, and then they're just alive later. It's like, at what point am I supposed to start questioning whether or not it's interesting? Oh no, this character's dead. Are they? Are they though? Are they going to allow us? How much suspension of belief are we supposed to allow where they're just going to come up with some reason that they're not dead anymore, and we're just supposed to say, well, it's fantasy. It's like, yeah, but then why have them die at all? In the same breath, we accept because of what eventually became, and allowing them to survive could lead to other stuff. But then it devalues the moment. It devalues the moment of them dying, of the impact. Look at the Tony Stark in the Avengers, Black Widow in the Avengers, Coulson. Look at Coulson. That was one of the reasons people had a problem with Coulson surviving in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, we liked it because we liked Coulson, but it devalues their death. Their death is supposed to have meaning. It's supposed to be impactful, not just in this story, but as a viewer, we're supposed to care when characters die, and character deaths mean nothing depending on which media you're watching. It doesn't mean, you know, when a character dies in Game of Thrones, they were dead. You know, and you can argue about the quality of Game of Thrones in the second half, but in the beginning, it meant a lot. When Ned Stark got his head cut off, the Red Wedding, Joffrey, you know, what do they call it? The Purple Wedding. Those deaths meant something because we knew they were final. If Ned Stark got his head cut off and we knew that 4 episodes later, the ghost of Ned Stark was going to inhabit someone else's body and he was going to come back, what impact does that have? What impact does it have to sit there and say, oh, well, don't worry, Tony Stark is dead, but we can just snap him back with the stones? It's like, so am I supposed to be sad? You kind of killed it for me by doing that. Death needs to mean something. It needs to have in media, death has to have a purpose, whether it is to advance the story or to motivate the characters to do something, or at the very least to be an engaging moment for the viewer. And you lose all of that when you tell me that no matter what happens to a character, I can make up a reason that they survive, and I'm probably going to, and everybody's just supposed to accept it. It devalues it for me. And again, you can disagree, that's fine. But for me, yeah, death means very little in fiction. You know, and I mean, Ryan, when you stretch it to a point, you can just argue that fiction means nothing, right? It's all fake, so who cares? But then it's all fake, so who cares sports, right? It's all fake, so who cares books and manga and anime and video games? Like, we can't just say it doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter, right? It's not real, so it doesn't matter. It matters because we view it as entertainment. It matters because we spend our time and we spend our money on it because it enriches our lives. These are good stories. These stories teach valuable, interesting lessons, or they're just entertaining. I don't need to explain why I watch anime. I watch anime because it's entertaining and it enriches my life. Just like I don't need somebody to explain to me why football is interesting. I don't need them to have a deep-seated reason. They can say, I just like it. And you know what? That's a valid reason. But when you start to do things that screw up your engagement of that, I understand it. I understand why that bothers people. I understand why someone gets mad if they missed a football game. If somebody misses a football game that they were very excited for, and they record it, or they're going to go watch it on NFL Replay, or I don't know, I made that channel up, but they're going to go rewatch it, or somehow they've got access to it and they're going to watch it later. And someone tells them what the end score was. I get why they're upset, because it ruins it. It's a spoiler. You know, don't we get upset about spoilers? Don't we not like when there's a show or a movie that we're excited about and somebody comes up and just tells us the big dramatic thing that happens at the end? If it doesn't matter, if it's not real, so it's unimportant, why does that bother us so much? Because we're entertained by it. And we want to be entertained by it. We want to be engaged by it. So anything that ruins that entertainment and that engagement is damaging to it. And it's damaging to our experience. It's damaging to the positive nature of our experience. And one of those things that does that is if you have these impactful moments where these things are dramatically happening, and you do something to make me not care, then that kind of ruins it. Gamora's brought back, it clearly shows you. Yeah, the Gamora that came back as a different person. Yeah, which is a whole separate sort of thing. I think that kind of confused a lot of people. You know, you have people that hate spoilers, but you also have people that don't mind it. It's okay to soak in those things if the person or people want to hear, but respect the one that want to be left surprised or see for themselves. Yeah, I don't think Ryan's going to do. Just probably mocking how media lately treats death like a one-up. Even if the eventual payoff may be worth it, but in the moment, it devalues the moment. It's because that's what ends up happening. The character dies and you think, don't worry, they'll be back. It's like, and then you question when they're not. When you, sure, she survived being stabbed by a lightsaber, just like Darth Maul survived being literally cut in half, just like Fennec Shand survived being shot in the gut and left for dead, right? Okay, you have all of those characters that didn't die, so there's precedent for it. But then doesn't it take you out of the moment when you're supposed to be sad that that Qui-Gon died? Am I not supposed to sit there and wonder, well, wait, why did he die? Why did everybody else survive? Fennec was left for dead, and she just happened to be found. So she happened to be found by somebody who had the ability to replace her entire torso with a droid belly. So why did she get to survive? And you're not wrong to ask that question, and you're not wrong to have that ruin your immersion. You're not. I don't think you are. I don't think you're wrong to have that ruin your immersion, and it does kind of affect it. It affects your ability to go forward later. Because now, a death comes up. Yeah, I can believe that Maul survived being cut in half. I can believe that Fennec Shand was shot in the gut and left for dead, and she survived. But I'm not supposed to believe that Mace Windu would have survived falling out of a window. It's just kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah, how did Palpatine survive? Somehow, right? They're fixing that. To be fair, they're fixing that. I'm watching Bad Batch. They're fixing that. Yeah. If Maul, if what should have killed Maul didn't kill him, how do other people survive? An early free resurrection, was it? In Henry and Thomas Tank Engine, Reverend Audrey killed him in fit of rage. Brought him back. Children wonder what happened to him. The rage that led to his death. Fighting with the book's illustrator. Wait, how elaborate is Thomas the Tank Engine? Actually, there's a lot of fans. Yeah, the theory right now is that he did survive, so we're all kind of waiting. The episode in like I forget what episode was it. Was it in Obi-Wan where Ahmed Best showed up as his character? A lot of people thought that was going to be Mace Windu. Mace got his hand cut off before being electrocuted and thrown out the window. But what does that mean? Does that mean he's dead? I would think that he should have survived that. And we haven't seen him yet, so we don't know. Constantly trying to show more and more Jedi. Well, I think Wing, I think that it's been speculated that about 100 Jedi survived Order 66. So that I think that that's really just a number to give them some overhead and say, yeah, we can just throw a couple more in there. I don't think that there's more left. Like, not a lot more. Because I think at this point we only know about. Well, actually, no, I can't know because Vader found some of them and made them Inquisitors, and then they killed some of them. And then you have the children that were never really discovered. They weren't Jedi. So you have the ones that were killed later because they were discovered later on. So it's kind of up in the air. But I think that they said about 100 or so, roughly, that were in the Jedi Order actually survived Order 66. But I think it's just speculation. Slight back to earlier. Check side chat one for a list of all the countries that won't be able to play Helldivers due to PSN stuff. Here we go. Countries that cannot make the PSN account. Leia elaborately faked her death to help Kylo and return to the light. I would just took it as 100-ish known Jedi. Yeah, and not Force users, just Jedi. Many were never found or thought to be. Yeah, and then there's some of them that just never popped up. You had some of them that went off and did their own thing. So they were out there, but that I don't have a problem with that. It's just it's not even about the Jedi thing. It's just as the story goes on, it's like, I don't know. I see a character and I have this intense character death, and I don't know if I'm supposed to care or not. And again, it's not just Star Wars. It's anything Marvel, anything action, anything with an established universe, right? If I watch a random movie and a character dies, I don't think that they're alive. Unless it's Fast and the Furious. Because I think that's another one. I think Fast and Furious is another one where a lot of people didn't die. right? Letty survived. Han survived. At least for a while. I forget if he died later. People died in Fast. The only people I know that died in Fast and the Furious were Jesse in the first movie. Vince. They didn't say Vince died. Vince eventually died in the 5th or 6th movie. Letty died but came back, so she doesn't count. Han died but sort of came back, so he didn't. But I don't remember if they killed Han again later. I don't remember if Han died later. Who else died? Like established characters who died, because they didn't kill Paul Walker. They said that he drove off into the sunset, right? I didn't see the last 2 movies, I think. Making film because someone died during running across a bridge scene in the end of the film. The director did not have the heart to finish it, so the film just ends. The girlfriend of the Asian guy. Han's girlfriend. Oh, what's her face? Oh, she did die. What the hell was her name? You're talking about not Gal Gadot. No, not Gal Gadot's character. The tech girl. No. Gal Gadot was Han's girlfriend, right? I thought, what's his face? I thought Ludacris's girlfriend. Wasn't Ludacris's girlfriend the one that dies? You're right. One of them died in the movie. I didn't think it was Gal Gadot. Yeah, Paul Walker's character is still mentioned to be alive in the last movie. So yeah, they didn't kill him, which I'm glad. I think that whenever you have a character where something bad happens to them IRL, I don't like the idea of killing them. I don't like the idea of doing that. I like the idea of they went off to live in the sunset and they're fine. She dies in a plane sequence. And that's Gal Gadot's character? Okay, yeah, so she died. So she legitimately died. And she's dead, right? She didn't come back. That's it. Right? The OGs are still alive. Ludacris's character is still alive. What the heck is his name? Tyrese. He's still alive. Ludacris's girlfriend's character is still alive. Obviously, Vince. Not Vince. Dom. Right? Dom's sister. She's still alive. So like they're all. You had 3 character deaths. So you had 3 like legit over the series of the important characters. Right? The bad guys died, but who cares? With all the insane stunts they pull in Fast and Furious, they should have all been dead multiple times over. Yeah, everybody should have suffered massive head trauma from anything that they did in those movies. Oh, never mind. Apparently Fast X said otherwise. Wait, she's alive in Fast X? No shot. In Fast X, did Gal Gadot's character come back? Do you see what I mean? What? For Fast and Furious Ride in the Sunset, they actually had his brother. I remember that. They had his brother shoot that. And that's why I say Ride in the Sunset, because they literally had him like driving off. She's alive in Fast X. Are you kidding me? Oh, God. See what I'm talking about here, man? Oh, man. You see what I'm talking about? That's what I mean. Alrighty. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up early. Well, not as early as when I said it earlier, but let's see who we got here. I don't really have anybody. I'll probably just let you go. I don't think I have anybody to send you to. I have Chris Teal, but I'll probably just let you guys go. Talking about cheaping stuff. How about everyone's masterpiece Xenoblade? Xenoblade. No, you only had the one. You only had the one in Xenoblade. You didn't have any of the main characters die in Xenoblade. Sabrina's doing a birthday. Wait, is she? I don't see her on my feed here. Is she? She's not doing it now, is she? Yeah, no, you only had the one character from Xenoblade. Oh, it is. Wait, why is she not on my feed? Am I not following her? There's no way.
Home bake tastes so good.
Oh.
Your family.
I wasn't following her. All right, I'm going to send you there. That's so weird. I thought you died. I heard that and chose to keep living. Yeah, no, yeah, I know, fake fan. Yeah, I could have sworn. Yeah, in Xenoblade, I think. I feel like I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it, even though it's an old game. No, yeah, I think it was just that one character. Which, to be fair, I also wasn't really happy that happened to that character. So I was happy to see them come back. Because I was pretty pissed off that happened so quickly. I was so mad. I was so mad when that character died. I was like, come on, man. You spent the first 20 minutes of the game genuinely making me enjoy this character, and then that immediately happened. It's foreshadowing. See, I don't know. I don't know. You know what I would argue, Lilac? I would argue that the return was more foreshadowed than the death. Because, and that's not even a storyline thing. I would say that because there were things in the game that were like when you looked at the list of the character, like the affinity links and the social links between the characters, that character was there, and there were like stores that sold equipment for them. And I'm like, okay, so she's coming back at some point. They are coming back at some point. But the initial, I thought the initial death was like, oh, all right, that was kind of out of nowhere. That kind of sucked. Or at the very least, I didn't think it would be that fast. At the very least, I would thought that would have happened maybe a little bit later. But yeah, I didn't really think that it would happen. I don't know. For some reason, I guess I allowed myself. I guess I just allowed myself to be falsely secure. I just didn't think that it was going to happen. Also, it's not just that one and a few characters. I guess I'm thinking more of the main characters, but I don't know. Like, I don't remember any of the other characters that they did that. And, well, they were like the ones that, there was like the sword guy, and you kind of thought that, but I wouldn't say that I would say the sword guy you didn't know. I wouldn't say that they actively had a dramatic sequence. That's why, can you tell me, and they had a dramatic sequence about them dying, or they had a dramatic moment where they said they were dead and you never saw them? I feel like that's a different thing. I feel like it's a different thing where they said that they were dead and then they came back. But to have a moment where they have a death on screen death. I always say that it has to be an on-screen death. Otherwise, I question it. Like, I don't, that's not a problem for me to question an off-screen death. I have no problem questioning that. I have a problem questioning, I have a problem when they show me the death. And I'm supposed to believe it. Yeah, right to me what character you think it was, because I know that there was the one character, but they just talked about it. They didn't actually show that happening. In fact, that was a problem I had with, right before we go, that was a problem I had with the last two Harry Potter movies. I think it was the last Harry Potter movie. When they leave the house. Remember, I don't know for anybody that watched Harry Potter, when they leave the house and they all like, they drink the potion so they all look like Harry, and then they get back to the house and one of them didn't make it, like one of them died. They never showed the death, and I always remember thinking, well, they could bring him back because they're just saying that he died. Like, nobody actually saw him die, but then he was dead. He never came back, and it was like, wow, what a you had an opportunity to bring the character back and you didn't take it. When you're told it couldn't be changed, so it wasn't. Yeah, you'd have to tell me which character it was, because the character that I'm thinking of, I feel like it wasn't really shown. If I'm thinking of the right character, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. Biggest problem with the HP movies is that after watching them, I suddenly started hating. Okay, yeah. But a big part of the game is the visions can change. Yeah, and again, it was still a vision. It was still something in the past. Like it wasn't something that happened right in front of us. I know that I know you're gonna say it's a cop out, but I don't care. If it's not something that happens directly in front of the characters, I don't believe it, or I at least believe that you are setting it up to not be the case. I will always believe that. I believe that. But this other one, for the most part, right? You will say that, it kind of technically didn't happen, but with the two of them, one of them felt more definitive. I'm sorry for everybody that we're being so vague. You're probably being really annoyed. I don't want to spoil the game because I think that the game is good, Okay. All right. And that part they said something's, and in that part they said something's good. And even then, you pull the Final Fantasy thing and say it's an illusion. It's because you're trying to get a clip out of context, and he knows. And then there's a Force Ghost moment. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the game, so we're not going to turn this into a Xenoblade thing, but I enjoyed Xenoblade. That's just how it is, I enjoyed Xenoblade. But I respect that you're allowed to voice when you have a concern or something that you did not like about the game. But that is going to do it for today. So thank you. I kind of thought that this was going to end up being a just chatting stream. I knew that I wanted to talk about some of the other topics and they were going to be long. So I felt like we probably weren't going to get into a game today. So how about that airline food, huh? It's really not as bad as people think it is. Tomorrow we should be okay for Community Day, which is probably gonna be either Smash Brothers or Mario Kart. To be honest, it'll probably be Mario Kart. Thank you, Aria. I appreciate you coming in. Yeah, we'll probably end up doing Mario Kart. Oh, wait. Is Kia here? Is Kia still here? I'm sorry. I owe Kia a Gonzadasuit, and I don't think I gave that Gonzadasuit to them. Oh no, Kia left earlier. Damn it. I owe Kia a Gonzadasuit. So we'll get that sorted next time. I don't want to do it and they're not here. If you're flying with Boeing, airline food is the least of your worries. Yeah, I know. I might be present tomorrow for that. The moving has basically stopped work, so I will be available. So yeah, so we'll probably play some Mario Kart tomorrow. I think that'll be nice and simple. Yeah, I will. Well, I have Somber. I have my right next to my chat window is my activity window. So like if you guys play a sound clip or you sub or something, I get my activity there. That's what reminded me is that at the top of my feed is the Gonzadasuit that they left 51 minutes ago. So I never dropped that for them. So when we load up tomorrow, it'll be right at the top of my activity feed. So I won't forget that. Basically that is a built-in sticky note for me. For right now though, I'm going to send you, hang on one second here. I'll just hurry up and close that window so you can click it again. There we go. Oh, speaking of the devil. For right now, though, I'm going to send you over to Sabrina. Sabrina is playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So stick around after the credits, and I will send you over there to hang out and represent us very well, where you can wish her a happy birthday. It is Sabrina's birthday today. So head on over there and wish her a happy birthday. But like I said, that's going to do it for today. So thank you so much, everybody, for stopping in and for hanging out. Don't forget to drink your mask, wear your water, social distance whenever possible. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you all tomorrow.